Get 'em, Jimmy, where low shack at? The bottle's getting empty up the crack and we stacking chips, all of it's what I want. Plus money winners, that's what I'm on. You can say I'm gone. I prefer elevated pub sports radio. Time to get educated, get produced, leave the juice, letting loose with so much abuse that the bookies wanna call a truce. They getting slaughtered. Can't forget Jeff and low baggers in the chat. That's a lethal weapon 'cause we be pubbing.
What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Friday, October 14th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. Was a bit of a disaster yesterday after cashing the Mariners' first five at plus 115. I didn't move on the first five under 3.5. I doubled up on the Mariners' first five. I drove down to poker night, feeling good about myself, comfortably up 460. And there was a car accident in front of me. 6 cars, and it was ugly. And I should have taken it as a sign as to what was going to happen. The Temple first half, I got to sit there for a fucking hour. It wasn't that bad of an accident. Everybody's okay. But I sat there and watched Temple fall apart at the end of the first half. And I don't hate that I decided to move on the over in that disastrous Thursday nighter. I hate that I didn't cash. The Bears were moving the ball so easily to start the game. They were, just fucking terrible. And when Fields missed that pass, I think it was to Komet, that little floater for the touchdown, I knew I was fucked. And every time I kind of try to outsmart the market or the situation, it blows up in my face. And it blew up my face. And NHL continued to struggle for me, looking for unders. I as I said before the show started, and one game does not, make anything make, but the Wild are in trouble this year. The Capitals are in trouble this year. The Leafs aren't a good team, and we're in control of that hockey game. I pushed with the Leafs bet. All of a sudden, it's an ugly start to the NHL season. It's just everything else is fine. But I got down quick in poker. I got some of it back before I left. I ended up down like 215, or I think 215. So, it's Friday, and we have a packed show here, and I need to have a good day. I was late to so for NHL, all my life, or the 5 years at least, like I've been publicly capping in front of you, I come to you with my action. I move on action. I come to you. I don't really, I may make some additions that we talk about, but I just come to you with my action. And I don't mind getting a slap in the face. I got a slap in the face in baseball to start the season. And, we're sitting here up 26 units at the end of the year. And so, but let's stop, who cares what the market says? We can care a little bit in NHL, but I got to come to you with my action every day. And if we add something, we add something. So I've made 4 bets in NHL. I'm sure that Bobano moved on the BC Lions as soon as they were available at a plus price. And it made me almost not bet them now because the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are resting a bunch of players and they've clinched first overall in the league. But I moved on both of those. So I have 6 bets in to start the day. And from now on, every show when we come in NHL, I'm going to have my action here and I'll say, this is what I bet. And it's different. It's my best sport. So why would I sit here and figure it out with you guys? I should come ready to fucking attack. And that's what I'm going to start doing. I've, losing hurts. It affects you. And something that we always talk about is that we can't let the losing hurt more than the winning feels good. We all do, though. And so right now, I'm fucking angry. I'm so fucking angry. and it's nobody's fault. There's no injustice. There was no bad luck. I've just not been very good this week, and the stakes are high, with a young family and shit like that. I can't have a horrible month, especially when we lead up to the Breeders' Cup here on November 4th and 5th. And I need to have at least 2K, available for me to not have any trepidation when I move on it. So, and then you guys know what happens to me when I start losing and starting out the NHL like this. I can't fucking sleep. I just sit there staring at the ceiling. And so that's happening right now. All right. That's that. Let's get to work here. Billy Friedrich in the house. Brian Watson. Razor sharp picks coming off a huge day yesterday. I love seeing that. Razor sharp picks. And razor sharp picks will be alongside Dabra Cadabra tonight for a little college football live bet stream right here Friday night, Pub Sports Radio, Navy, SMU, and we'll be breaking that game down here on the show. This is how the show's going to go. Bobano's going to join us. We're going to start with CFL and NHL. We're going to try to get through them quick because I know the most of attention wants to be on MLB as well as NCAA football. So after MLB, Jose Bouquett will join us for MLB. And then once we're done that, we'll get into NCAA football and we'll bring on DJ Big Boss. So we have 2 Friday games that we will be attacking and then 5 Saturday games that DJ Big Boss has picked out. So that's the situation right there. Big Daddy Boom says, how about them Calgary Flames? Look, it's nice to play against the Stanley Cup champions on the second night of a back-to-back without their captain. So the Calgary Flames are a good hockey team, but they didn't prove nothing last night. Didn't prove fuck all last night. Leo Leon, a.k.a. Big Daddy Boom, a.k.a. Mr. Know-It-All says, unfortunately, Predators fell flat from Europe trip, but under 5.5 helped me because even things out in that game, but had to watch 10 minutes of terror because a Star scored 4 goals. And shout out to Birdie for being all over the Stars there. Nasty Nate in the house, serious business. Let me move this over a little bit. Here we go. Danny Lopez ready to work. Let's see. It says, where's Dab Bean? He's not doing college games anymore. He does college games on our channel every Friday and Saturday live. Let's see. I don't know if you know, but we had a 2-week suspension. So we were over at our sister channel, Pub Culture TV. But Dabby's in business, man. J Dub ready to go. Razor Sharp Pick says UCF Temple over cash before halftime. That was. When I was watching that start, can you believe that final score was 70-13 and Matty Ice doesn't get to cash his first quarter? I mean, just bullshit. Matty Ice was right, and he should have been able to cash. The fact that Matty Ice is on the UCF first quarter -7, I'm on Temple first half +14, we both lose, makes me want to smash something. Okie in the house, Brandon, the great Brian Watson's on Navy +12.5. I'm looking forward to break that down. Brian Watson, Leafs -1, boo. We missed the empty net by inches there. Pushes are fine. Pushes are fine. Whatever. Sweaty Butcher in the house. Rem Most says, broadcasting from the casino floor. Yes, we are getting fancy. There's Jeff Slaughter in the house. How about them Dallas Stars, baby? It's a good start to the season, Jeff. I was much higher on them last year, and I'll continue to be. Until you can get rid of the contracts with Sagan and Ben, and not only get rid of the contracts, but get them off the ice and out, just ship them out of Dallas, you guys are going to be in some trouble. Viper says, got clapped yesterday. Ace Soto says, it happens to me. Don't let it get you. Yeah, I can't help it, But look, we've had an extended run of glory. And look, I'm sitting here 47-23 in NFL, 21-10 in NCAA football. I went 6-2 in CFL last week, so I'm very close to the black there. I'm 36-33 down 0.35 units. Everything's fine, but losing fucking sucks. Arthur Meade Jr. in the house. Christopher Commentini, Mike M, RVD 420, Billy Friedrich. Mike M says the Flyers are undefeated. The Sabres, I mean, we spelt it all out that the Sabres were going to take care of business last night, and then I didn't move on it. I knew that Colorado was in a terrible situation, but I didn't. But I would have moved on those bets had I bet them before we got to the show, and then so that's not going to happen anymore. I'm going to have my action. I'm going to bet it. I'm going to come on the show, and I'll fucking tell you guys about it, and that's what we're going to do here. Von Polo says that was bad last night. Yeah, it was ugly. Billy Friedrich says, can we start seriously talking about doing away with NFL Thursday night games? It's just a cash grab, and I'm sure it's got to get better than this, right? This has got to be the worst. Got to be the worst, D. Jenkins in the house. What up, D. Jenkins? Gary Tenebra Razor says losing days happen, losing weeks happen. Yeah, no, I feel you. I feel you. It's just, I'm just not going to come up here and be like, all right, fuck, it's going to be a great day. It's Friday. I haven't hit the bottle, so I got that going for me. D. Jenkins says 100% believe Lightning and that San Jose under will cash. Yeah, I like that spot that I'm on. I like getting plus money on the under for the Columbus Blue Jackets. I want Goodrow to face the consequences of his decision making. Now Laine's out of the lineup. So you're coming off a 100-point season. Every team in the league with cap room wanted you. You said you wanted to move closer to home, but not too close, right? You're still, 8 hours away? And now you're on a shit hockey team for the next 8 years. And I hope you don't break 70 points ever again. And I hope you fucking struggle. And I hope you struggle tonight. I'm betting that you're going to struggle tonight. Cobra Sports, a Fireside said simple heavy favorite goes down early in the NHL, NFL. You bet them Leafs live plus 200. Yeah, no, I feel that. The problem was we weren't watching the Leafs game at poker. We were watching the football game. So I won't live bet a game I'm not watching. It's one of my rules. There's TJ in the house. Slats, he says 2-5 ugly night in the NHL. How bad are the LA Kings on Tampa regulation and Brent Burns plus 2.5 shots plus 125? I like that. There's Nuke Worker in the house. Billy Friedrich on Canes puck line at plus money. The Canes are such a good defensive hockey team. I'm looking forward to this little California trip to see exactly how good they are. I'm on them tonight as well. Razors on Rangers to win it all at plus 1,800. So am I. Got to feel good about ourselves early. They look very, very good. They look very, very good. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Sweaty Butchers on New York, Cleveland over 6. Cleveland lost 7-0 to the over in the last 7. And Cleveland has a road dog. And interesting stats for Sweaty Butcher. I love it. I love it. There's Fanatical Jim in the house. Great to have all you guys with us. Sky Dragon says, are the Flames the best team in hockey? I'd say the Atlanta Flames with Lanny McDonald as captain were the most fun team in hockey. So I think that I'd say, yeah, the Atlanta Flames at times were extremely enjoyable team to watch. Roger that in the house. Andrew G. All right, let's get to work. Slatsy says Goodrow got his cash. How much will he carry? He could have got paid more. Dan Kelly says I should have known that the Bears-Skins game was going under when FanDuel had the over on an odds boost of 37.5. Fuck, man. All right. Remo says you're 6 feet above ground, fathering a wonderful family, and your mom has nice hair. Oh, there's Arthur Me Jr. Thank you so much for the dono, Arthur. Thank you guys. Thank you for supporting us here at Pub Sports Radio. I love it. Proud to work here and be a part of what we are doing. And I'm excited about, and I think sometimes I just need to fucking vent a little bit off the top and get it out and start capping with you and start feeling better about myself. And that's already happening. So let's bring on your first guest. I'm excited when DJ Big Boss will join us, but that won't be for a while. Let's bring on your first guest coming to us from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada's steel town, black and yellow. Please welcome Ian Cameron to the show. Ian, how are you, my man?
Doing good. The voice isn't, but I'm doing good.
Nice. We like it when you have this sultry
yes.
voice. Are you good to go, though? Are we ready to rock? Let's hear it one more time. I'm
doing really good. We got Baritone in today. Baritone Bobano is back. It's really just a sore throat. I feel good. Like I'm not run down. There's no stomach issues, or it's just a really bad throat. And it just all of a sudden it hit me yesterday in the middle of the afternoon. So here we are, but we can get through.
We can get through, and let's get right to work because we need to get through CFL and NHL with some speed, because we're going to spend quite a bit of time in NCAA football today. And then, of course, MLB is going to take a ton of our attention. Let's get to work right now, Bobano. We start 7 p.m. Eastern. Montreal Alouettes 7-8, 3-4 on the road. Ottawa RedBlacks 4-11, 0-7 at home. I'm coming off a 6-2 week in CFL that I needed badly. We're at TD Place in Ottawa, Ontario. I'm going to pull up all of the line movement here so we can be properly prepared for the situation. Again, the biggest line movement, of course, takes place in that Lions game. But let's talk about what's happened here. And we saw what happened last week when these two teams met up. A big win for Ottawa that Bobano was on. I did break even. Well, I lost a little bit of vig. I had the Alouettes first half full game. Thank God for the first half. This opened with the RedBlacks plus 3.5, minus 108. They're now minus 112. They got up to minus 118. They got up to minus 122 at this plus 3.5, but it is coming back to the Alouettes. This total opened up at 48 and is now at 47. The Bob Dice debut went excellent, just as you thought it might, Bobano. And it was a 24-18 victory for the RedBlacks on the road. Now they're coming back on very short rest to attack each other again. Nick Arbuckle, 28-32, 229 yards. He was very good, but they dealt with injuries in the game. They lost Devontae Dedmon to a quad injury. They lost Jalen Acklin. They lost William Powell, their running back, to a shoulder injury. Offensive lineman Dino Boyd as well. All four of them have been ruled out. The RedBlacks are 0-7 straight up and against the spread at home this year. That's atrocious. And we'll talk about that again when we talk about the Edmonton Elks. Also 0-7 straight up and against the spread at home this year. And William Stanback now in his second game should be stronger and stronger as the season goes on. Take it away for us, Bobano. TD Place in Ottawa, Ontario, Alouettes, RedBlacks.
Yeah, I'm passing on this game. I mean, I don't feel good about. I don't want to go against Ottawa, even with the injuries. They've got renewed life, renewed energy, and you clearly saw that on Monday with Bob Dice there. But they cannot win at cover at home. They do have injuries mounting. You mentioned many. Jalen Acklin's been one of their best receivers this year, so they're going to miss him a little bit. When you look at Montreal, it's a team that's very flaky. The one thing they've done well, though, is they've played well in Ottawa. They've been able to get the job done. If I had to, I'd play Montreal, but I don't like going against this momentum of a coaching change. Sometimes it lasts just one game, and then sometimes it propels a team right through several games, several weeks even. So I would not be this would be a tough game to get involved with personally for me. I cashed with Ottawa Monday, but I'm not putting that money back in play and taking them again here tonight, especially with that brutal track record at home. But at the same point in time, I don't trust Montreal enough, so it's a pretty easy game to stay away from.
You know what's so funny? You just wrote that slats. I was just putting that together in my head. I think this is an angry Alouettes group after what happened to them at home, and I think they come out fired up. I don't know if I trust them either. I certainly don't trust Machocha's adjustments, but I just think early the Alouettes' talent will rise up. The injuries that the RedBlacks faced will rear their ugly head, and I like that first half look.
The first half might be the way to go because they actually did cover the first half on the Monday game last week, but blew it in the second. A terrible second half. The offense did nothing. If anything, I'd lean over. I like these games when it's a rematch situation. First game stays under. I like the opposite to happen in the second game. So I might get there with a small over bet, but nothing significant.
All right. And Mally Mal hit big on Montreal first half last week. Love hearing that, Mally Mal. It saved me as well. Yes. Okay. Let's roll on. That's game one. The speed is nice here, Bobano. Let's keep it going because I know that there is a lot of MLB and NCAA football that people want to get to, and we need to talk NHL as well. We move on to Friday night action. Your Hamilton Tiger Cats, 5-10, 0-7 on the road. 0-7 is going to come up frequently here on the show today against the Stampeders, McMahon Stadium at Calgary, Alberta. A couple things have happened in the CFL this year. Clearly, the only team at this point that can mess with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers is these Calgary Stampeders. And is it possible that Nathan Rourke puts on a cape and comes back, not this week. We know not this week, but he's practicing and gives the Lions a chance 2 or 3 weeks from now to be the team that we remembered them being. Let's take a look at the line history here in this one. Bobano's Ticats in action. I've done really well with your Ticats this year. It's about the only team I've really done well with. The Stamps opened -7.5, and they moved to 7 yesterday at 11:19 in the morning. And I get why they have. This total opened up at 49. There's been a 5-cent move to the over. The Ticats coming off a crucial victory at home over the Rough Riders, keep their playoff hopes alive. But if we take off one game where they exploded offensively in a bit of a surprise against Winnipeg, even though I say surprise, I was on it, but obviously the way they beat them surprised us. They've not scored over 18 points in 3 of their last 4 games. The turnovers are just a problem that we thought maybe went away for a second, but they haven't seemed to go away. The Stampeders have won 4-5. They're coming off a bye week after stomping the Argos 29-2 at McMahon. Their defense completely shut down a very pedestrian Argos offense. But this defense is second in the league in yards allowed per pass attempt and opponent pass efficiency. And that's a problem, especially for these Ticats. And their offense now, 30.8 points a game for the Stamps. They rush for 115.4 yards per game. You've talked about their ability to move the ball on the ground often on this show, Bobano. And that's where the Ticats excel. They allow the fewest rushing yards per game. And Simone Lawrence may or may not be back. I'm sure you have that inside information. So let us know what you think here, Bobano. Take the floor. Stamps at home to your Ticats.
Yeah, he is back, Simone Lawrence. About time. I mean, my goodness, how long does it take? But finally, he's back. That's definitely big for the defense, no question about that. But this game is another pass for me. I'm not involved. Calgary hasn't been good at home ATS until the Toronto game. And, of course, I was on Toronto that day. And that's the first game all year that they covered at home, which isn't very good when you look at it. So they've had trouble covering numbers here at home. 1-6 ATS. I do like this team, though, overall. I like Jake Mayer. I believed in Jake Mayer from the beginning. And you look at the Calgary offense, it looks very solid with him at quarterback. They took a while to get going against Toronto, but once they did, Toronto had a hard time stopping them. He's clearly the future for them at quarterback. Hamilton, the offense is just pedestrian. You know, especially if Stephen Dunbar doesn't go again. At receiver, because he was certainly, and it looks like he is going to play, which is good, that Stephen Dunbar's back, because he's actually become one of Dane Evans' better targets. But on the road, they've been not good. At Montreal, they lose by 7. Toronto, they get blown out. They lose to Montreal by 1, lose by 14 against Toronto. Oddly enough, the last time they played a West Division team at home on the road was BC. They only lost by 5. So that's what makes the number tricky. You know, I could see Hamilton covering the number, but losing by 7 or less. I could see them losing by double digits, you know, because that's happened before as well. So this is just a game staying away.
I could understand that.
It's a bigger game for Hamilton. It is, because they lose, their season's over. Playoffs are done if they lose. Calgary they want it too, because they're battling BC for second, but obviously they're in the playoffs. So it's not a life on the line situation for Calgary like it is for Hamilton.
If I was given a free bet, I would put it on an angle that I don't know if I trust enough to put money on.
Yeah.
But that maybe the Stamps are a little slow out of the gate after their bye, and this means so much to Hamilton. And it's maybe a Hamilton first quarter. They're +2 or a Hamilton.
That's when you want to take Hamilton, because it's been until last week against Saskatchewan. Closing out games has been the problem.
But I don't know if I want to get in the face of this Stamp squad that's moving in the right direction here coming into the playoffs. But
I agree. And Hamilton's bad road track record, so.
Yeah, okay. All right, so we move on to Saturday CFL action. We're going to get into NHL. There's only 4 games in NHL. Then we'll get into MLB action with Jose Bouquett. And then we'll be joined by DJ Big Boss for the 2 Friday night NCAA football games and the 5 handpicked Saturday games from Boss, from DJ Big Boss. All right, 7 p.m. Eastern, Toronto Argonauts 9-6, 4-3 on the road at the Edmonton Elks. And the Edmonton Elks also are 0-7 straight up and against the spread at home, but they take it to another level with their home ridiculousness. They haven't won since 2019 at home. Now, we did miss a full season due to the pandemic, but that's awful. And in their last home game, I thought that I could catch the falling knife, and Cornelius was within the 5-yard line twice to win me the game. They cashed the first half, but I wasn't on them first half. No, just full game for me. And it was disturbing to see the 99, or it was 105, right? It was a 100-yard interception return. That was the only score for the Alouettes in the second half. Absolute bullshit. Should have cashed it. And then, of course, when they go back down and get in the red zone the next spot, get by in the 5 yards within the goal line, they run the ball 3 times out of fear. That bothered me so much. It was so clear what they were going to do. And for Chris Jones to be so pathetic upset me. R2D2 Finland in the house. Okie saying Bieber is going to shove today. Look, I'm ready to. There's just the sharps and everything's all over the Yankees right now. So I will talk it out before I bet it. Nuke Worker is on the Argos -6. We've had a monster. We talked about not having big market moves on Friday. We've had them on Saturday. This opened up at some spots with the Argonauts as 3-point favorites. At Pinnacle, they opened up as 5-point favorites. They're now 6-point favorites, but there was 3s at some offshores. This total opened up at 50 and is now at 50.5. The Argos bounced back from their 29-2 loss at Calgary by defeating the Lions in BC 23-20 last week. I was on the Argos first half and full game. It was nice cashers there. Their offense is questionable, and their defense is very strong. Now, they've lost Wynton McManus, their linebacker, who's been a stud this year, but they're pretty deep in that position. It's a loss still. But they've allowed now an average of 18.2 points per game over their last 5. They're playing well. If Montreal loses on Friday night, Toronto will clinch the East Division title in a first-round bye. So, first question, and let me just say a couple more things. The Elks are coming off an ugly 48-11 loss at the Blue Bombers, and Taylor Cornelius was completely shut down. But Bobano, I think Montreal will win tonight. But if they're about to lose tonight, do we immediately bet as fast as possible the Edmonton Elks?
I might, because I've already bet Toronto in this game. So if we find out Ottawa upsets Montreal and this game now becomes meaningless, like it will be for another team that we're about to talk about on this CFL slate, then yeah, you got to move. I have to move on Edmonton if that's the case, because I've already locked in Toronto. So, but I do expect, I'm with you. I don't have ultra confidence in Montreal because of this newfound life that Ottawa showed last week with the new coach. But I still think when push comes to shove, Montreal will find a way to win. Just because Ottawa's been so futile at home this year. So I think Montreal will win that game, which means Toronto's got to win this game still to fend off Montreal for first in the East. Even if this game doesn't mean anything to Toronto, there's no way I could back Edmonton here. The only way I would back Edmonton is to get out of the Toronto bet if we find out they're resting guys. But yeah, Edmonton's unbackable at home. I mean, 0-7 straight up, 0-7 ATS. They've had opportunities. You mentioned the Montreal game. They just couldn't get over the hump, couldn't score when they were in the red zone. That was a problem. The defense is just not very good. It's been a little bit better, but not been what you want it to be. Again, they've had red zone offensive issues. I think Cornelius has shown us a lot, but at the same time, in the red zone, still not getting it done on a consistent basis. That is definitely something that concerns me a little bit about Edmonton here in this game. So, yeah, I laid it with Toronto. This game means something for Toronto. This defense is very good. I mean, McLeod Bethel Thompson in the offense isn't great. They won that game against BC last week because of their defense. But I think that defense is good enough to really shut down Edmonton. Edmonton just finds ways to not get it done at home. So I laid 5 with Toronto. It's up to 5.5 right now. The problem with making it official on this show is what if Ottawa wins tonight? And then what if Toronto's pulling starters? So I don't know if I want to make it official.
Yeah.
So I won't.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't. It makes sense. Everybody watching right now, please write the note down somewhere that if the Alouettes are about to win the game or win the game, bet the Elks immediately. There is also the
You mean the RedBlacks win the game? Yeah.
Oh, sorry. If the RedBlacks, yes. If the RedBlacks are about to beat the Alouettes, sorry, thank you. So write that note down. If the RedBlacks are about to beat the Owls, the Argos are going to rest players. Now, did you have no fear of the angle, the Chris Jones angle, and how well he knows this Argos football team? He knows them inside and out. You know, he was there last year overseeing things. Did that not put any fear into your backing of the Argos?
Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot, because they've had things go their way. They've had things in their favor, especially for these home games. And at the end of the day, 0-7. You know, straight up in ATS, can't get it done. So it doesn't bother me too much.
So I'm gonna, and even I might try to catch this falling knife again. I think that if the Alouettes win, that we could see this move further. I mean, you could even, it wouldn't shock me if we get to game day and it's a 7. And if the RedBlacks win, if they're coming close to winning, if I think they're going to win, I'm going to bet the Elks, and Argos are going to, and that's the only way the Elks can probably break this streak. So it's a crucial little capping thing. The markets are much smaller in Canada. Some books might be real late to this. So please, everybody watching, write down that note. If the RedBlacks look like they're going to beat the Alouettes, bet the Elks as soon as possible. Take some of the points, take some of the money line. All right, let's move on to the 10 p.m. game. And I'm late to the party, Bobano, and I know how close you keep an eye on CFL. And when I was looking at this, I'm like, oh my God, I know Bobano's got plus 3.5 in his pocket. Blue Bombers, Lions, and this is the biggest market move we've had probably this season. The Bombers are resting everybody, or I'll go over who they're resting. And again, they're going to rest players next week. So these are advantages and edges. And I know that some of you don't want to talk CFL, but there's just always been money to make in CFL. And 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I would book entire trips to Vegas around one CFL game, and those never lost. They paid for trips, and it's the beginning of the year and the end of the year where there's just absolute gifts in CFL. And this show is about making money. First and foremost, the Lions opened up as 2.5-point dogs. They're now 2.5-point favorites. From a total perspective, it opened up at 49.5. Excuse me, it opened up at 50, and it's now at 49.5. So there's Nut Flush Allen in the house. So the Bombers have demolished their last two opponents. They beat Saskatchewan 31-13 at home in week 17, and then beat up Edmonton 48-11 last week. I mean, they're a hell of a football team. They've clinched first place in the West. They've clinched first place overall, and they're sitting starters. They're sitting Zach Collaros, who's going to win most outstanding player, and Drew Brown. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on Drew Brown, because he doesn't have a lot of history here in the league. They're resting their offensive tackles that are so monstrous, Stanley Bryant and Jamarcus Hardrick. They are surely going to rest Jackson Jeffcoat and other starters in their secondary. The Lions come off a 23-20 home loss to the Argos. They've already secured a playoff spot, but they can still have home field advantage. And Nathan Rourke is practicing. So there's a lot for the Lions to fight for. And I got in late, and I still moved on it. I moved this morning on the Lions first half and full game. Tell us you got the 3.5, Bobano, and take it away.
Yeah, definitely. BC. This will be my one for sure official play on the show this week. And we'll go money line minus 135 is the best money line price out there right now with BC. Yeah, very simple late season. type of betting situation. And we actually saw this with Winnipeg. And in fact, I remember betting against Winnipeg a lot in their last few regular season games last year when they were in this same situation, resting starters. They had first place locked up already in the West, and they sat Kolaros. They sat a bunch of their offensive and defensive starters, just like they're going to do Saturday here against BC, and they lost the game and they didn't cover. They were a good bet against team once they wrapped everything up. I think it's going to be that same way again, at least this week, unless Mike O'Shea changes his tune and decides to get his starters some work before the playoffs. Maybe in the final game, you'll see that. But I don't think you'll see many of the starters this week, probably not next week either. So these are going to be 2 spots in a row, definitely, to go against Winnipeg. And for BC, this means everything because they really could benefit from having that home playoff game in the West semifinal by finishing second. They're battling Calgary for that spot. So these are important games. I think home field matters to BC. They don't want to end up going to Calgary, or they don't want to have to end up going on the road yet to Calgary, most likely for that West semifinal. So that's very important. I don't love the way Vernon Adams has played. He's been very erratic. He's had some good moments. He's had some terrible moments, which is kind of what you expect from Vernon Adams, honestly, at this stage of his career. But again, you're going up against a backup team, backup defense, backups on that side of the ball, and a team that may not care a whole lot about this game. And Drew Brown, to me, I've seen him in glimpses play in the CFL, and it's been rough. I mean, his accuracy and his touch with the football is not there. I'm actually surprised Dakota Prukop didn't start this game for Winnipeg. I think he's actually the better quarterback, Dakota Prukop. I've seen him come into a game for Winnipeg, and he's been able to throw the ball pretty well. I'm actually surprised they went to Drew Brown. But I guess because Dakota Prukop is their short yardage quarterback, they don't want to mess with that, and they don't want to get him injured. So they decided to go to Drew Brown instead, who I think is actually the worse option. So, yeah, I think BC, it's there for the taking for BC. The game there's plenty more stakes on the line in this game for the Lions, and I expect that to show. So we'll go with BC money line minus 135.
I love it. I'd also be interested in the team total under. It's just going down so fast. It was picked up at 24.5 by Slatsy, 22.5. Look, it's funny. I talk about gifts in CFL and NHL, and they're real. The gifts in NBA will be taken away from you, and you'll end up tied up in the closet. And in NFL, it's a little tricky as well, not to the extent that the NBA is. And I don't want to get carried away here because, there's no such thing as walks and all that bullshit. But how far can the market move? They've moved it at some places 6 points, and it's not enough. It's not enough. So I moved on the Lions first half and full game here. And this is just one of those gifts where the Bombers are going to rest a bunch of players, and the market will probably. I doubt anybody would let you bet 10,000 on the Lions. I bet you there's limits at all the books. I bet you they're nervous about it. I bet you there's limits to every single book in North America. All right, there you have it. That is our CFL breakdown. Let's review CFL action. I'm moving on the Alouettes -2 first half. Bobano staying off Friday night action. He's already on the Argos, but not making it official because
we can't. Yeah, for the show we can't because there's what if Ottawa wins, right? And we know Toronto is in a position at that point. Game now means nothing to them, and they can rest starters. And I don't want to be sitting near Toronto official play and then Ottawa wins and Toronto's resting starters. So that's why.
And Sky Dragon makes an excellent point. And that definitely plays a part in it.
Yeah. If I could be back, if there was a betting with the bag show tomorrow and I was on the show tomorrow, I'd be able to update the situation, but that's not the case.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Yeah, no, Sky Dragon, you're probably right. I just intimately know these sports better than any other sport. You're absolutely right.
But bet Toronto if Montreal wins. I would bet Toronto, and I will stay on Toronto if Montreal wins.
But even that's moved at some places from 3 to 6. So if that gets to 7, I'm going to have a. I
you're going to torture yourself with the Elks again. Yeah, is what you're saying. Yeah.
Look, I believe in Chris Jones, and I believe in everybody seeing that 48-11 loss. I believe Chris Jones talk about knowing a sport or a team intimately. I think he knows this Argos team inside and out. So I have some interest. There's Sabino and Guano in the house. All right, so that is CFL. Let's move on to NHL. And again, it's okay what's happened to me at the start of the year, but I'm going to make my bets. I'm going to come in and tell everybody about them. And if there's additions that come in through our capping, wonderful. Let's start 7 p.m. Eastern. Tampa Bay Lightning at Columbus Blue Jackets Nationwide Arena in Columbus, Ohio. We have Andrei Vasilevsky. It's just his consistency, Bobano, is just a goddamn thing of beauty. If all athletes could be Andrei Vasilevsky, he's always giving you his best effort. He's always locked in, and he's just absolute money in the bank. Elvis Merzlikins on the other side. I expect him to have a much better year. We are now, 14 months since he watched his best friend die right beside him. You never get over those things, but they start getting a little easier. Every year it gets a little easier and a little easier. So here we go. Let's talk about this spot here. Move over here. And okay, so the line history here in this one, I've already moved on the Lightning on the -1 line, as well as I moved on the team total under for the Columbus Blue Jackets, because now, Johnny Hockey, you rue the consequences of your decision-making. Line A is out for a month. You have Boone Jenner, who I love, but you're not going to get a lot of help. You may get a little help on the power play, but that's about it. I do think the Columbus Blue Jackets are going to have a very difficult time scoring. This total's already gone from 6.5 to 6. It moved to 6 at 11:41 a.m. I probably should be on that already, but I feel like I sort of am on the Columbus team total under. Let's move over to the cash flow very quickly and see what we are. Where the hell did it go? All right, sorry, the cash, it's gone. So I'll pull up the cash flow here in a second. But take it away for us, Bobano. Lightning, Blue Jackets.
Yeah, I mean, this has changed completely. With Pat, one player shouldn't always make you feel this way, but it does with Patrick Laine, because I expected him to be a big part of this offense, and why I thought this offense was going to be pretty good. And he obviously gets the one goal that they scored against Carolina the other night, and then he gets injured. He's out for a month. That is a big loss, because we knew there was going to be a chance for some great chemistry with him and Johnny Gaudreau. And now all of a sudden you've got to find that third option for Columbus on that top line with Boone Jenner and Gaudreau. And they're going to turn to Justin Danforth to be that guy on the top line. And from a prop standpoint, these are the situations you want to pounce on. Look, they're playing Tampa, a pretty good defensive team, one of the best goalies in the league, in Andrei Vasilevsky. So it's not like we expect Columbus to light it up tonight, but you still have to look at some props for Justin Danforth. Okay, he's going from the third line to the top line. He's going to get big opportunity, big minutes here with Jenner and Gaudreau. He's going to also get some power play time, you would think, most likely with this move. And it's not going to be priced like it. Like, I'm seeing goal score prop markets that have him plus 475 to score a goal tonight. He's playing on the top line. You just don't get that with other guys that play on top lines. So you got to take advantage of those prices, I think, from a prop standpoint. Maybe consider some Danforth props for Columbus tonight, even though, it may not be easy to score against Tampa. As for Tampa, look, I'm not in a rush to take Tampa, honestly. I think this is a team that's going to ease their way into the season. We saw that. I thought they played a horrible game against the Rangers. They're very lucky that game wasn't 6-1. Instead, I thought they were controlled. I thought they were dominated. I thought the Rangers were the much better team. Tampa looked slow. Tampa looked like they were losing puck battles all over the ice. Now, maybe that's just the New York Rangers are a legit Stanley Cup contender. They're that good. They followed it up with another impressive win against Minnesota last night. But still, part of that to me also was Tampa Bay didn't look right. And Tampa Bay to me has played a shit ton of hockey. I think the regular season is just going to be put it on cruise control, get into the playoffs, and go from there. There's going to be no point in the season I'm rushing to lay 210 with Tampa. So it becomes a pass for me. I was actually eyeing Columbus in this spot, home opener, but I hate the Line A injury. I don't like it one bit, and it worries me enough to stay off the Jackets here. So probably going to end up being a pass.
I love the way the Lightning looked in game one. What have we seen over the last few years is you want to back them after losses.
They're good off a loss, of course. No
And this
question.
wasn't just a loss. They were outclassed
Yep.
by the team who may be the best team in the Eastern Conference, who were all over futures-wise.
Very important game to watch here because Lightning teams of years past, they play a lot better tonight in a spot like this. They bounce back, they get the win. But if they struggle and they lose tonight, then I'm going to start to get a little concerned because this is a lot of hockey. They've been through the ringer the last 3 years. It's to the point where we got to start to ask ourselves, are the Lightning going to be that same upper tier, upper class team this year if they have a bad game tonight?
I love backing teams after bad losses when they stay on the road. It's just heaven. For me, it's a perfect gambling situation. They're not going home, dealing with their families or anything. They're sticking together.
They're on the road.
They're in fucking Columbus, Ohio, and they're only focusing on, well, did you guys see what the Rangers just did to us? We all saw what the Rangers just did to us, didn't we? Everyone looking at each other in the face. The team that's been in the Stanley Cup Finals 3 straight years. Do we all recognize what just happened? So this is a spot where it's a Lightning smash and grab, and I think it's going to catch up. The problem is the Eastern Conference is weaker than it was last year. So that's the problem with everybody saying that the Lightning are going to. I mean, the Lightning aren't going to play in the Stanley Cup Final, but the Eastern Conference is weaker. So I mean, Fanatical Jim, I like you're getting a great risk reward on those types of things, and you're right because he's got them not to make the playoffs at like plus 500. They're top heavy group, and we know that Stamkos has dealt with a ton of injuries throughout his career. So is Kucherov. So. It's a fascinating look with a nice risk reward. I'm on the Lightning -1. I'm on Columbus under 2.5 at even money. I wish I had have got in on that 6.5. I guess I had the choice and didn't want to triple up on the game. All right, let's move on to the next spot on the board. The upstart Montreal Canadiens. La Habitant! Coming off a big victory in game 1 over the hated Maple Leafs. Going up against the Detroit Red Wings, who have a lot of hope to start this year. Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, Michigan. Looks like Nedeljkovic will be in between the pipes going up against Jake Allen. Oh, by the way, you guys, for that cash flow, 92% of the tickets and 94% of the cash is on the Tampa Bay Lightning. So you have every right to be nervous about all that money on them. Then 42% of tickets, 51% cash on the under. Here in the next game, the Habs Wings game, 58% of the tickets and 77% of the cash on Detroit. And I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to bet it. And Jake Allen has, the keys to the car. Maybe the car is a fucking 85 Datsun, but he's driving it. And it's a nice position to be when you're a starting goalie, to know that you're going to be in every 2 nights. And then it's, you're the boss. And this Montreal Canadiens team has hope to start the year out. And they have players who, you look at what Cole Caulfield did in game 1. He loves Marty St. Louis. Marty St. Louis is his favorite player, and now he's being coached by him. And you can just tell that there's hope right now for them. And I'm not going to fade them early. And this Red Wings team, I have overs with them to make the playoffs. I'm a little nervous with their third and fourth line depth. I'm a little nervous when we have guys like Seider and Raymond, who we've seen so often have that sophomore year jinx. So I'm a little nervous watching the Red Wings and seeing them in this position. Slatsy says Matheson out for 8 weeks is a killer for the Habs. It is. And Brady says, I wish I could just talk because I can't type it all, but Habs depth at center makes their D and goaltending better. Dan Bonner says, favorite play on the board today, under 6.5 goals. Says we got Husso and Allen, both confirmed. Okay, so Husso is in that. Okay.
Husso's in for Detroit.
Okay, good. I couldn't believe that it said Nedeljkovic. I was like, you guys know that when Rod Brindamore traded him, I was like, well, he's obviously not going to be a starting goaltender in the NHL. And I made that bet with Gokster that 5 years from now, he won't be a starting goaltender in the NHL. So Yeah, that I like that. So Husso confirmed. Take it away for us, Bobano. Habs Wings.
Yeah, this to me looks like it's a spot where Montreal comes back down to earth. I get it. They look good against Toronto. Toronto gave them that game on a silver platter with turnovers, with terrible puck management, and Sheldon Keefe called it unacceptable. And look, Toronto, I think, stepped on the ice thinking this is a Montreal team with nothing but young, inexperienced blue liners and a team that was one of the worst teams in the NHL. It's going to be easy. We're going to win. And it doesn't work that way. They got outworked. They got out-hustled by Montreal. And give Montreal credit. Played a good game. The young blue liners, they blocked shots. Arbor Jacki was terrific. The whole blue line, the young group that they are, they dug in. They blocked shots. The commitment was there. And they forced turnovers out of the Leafs. Give them a ton of credit for that. But that was a game. That was like a Stanley Cup for Montreal, right? Opening night, home against the rival Toronto Maple Leafs, and they played up for it. This is reality time. I like Detroit here tonight in this one. On the road now. Keep that in mind. You're at home. Suzuki's being on, coronated as the new captain, the torch and all that before the game. I mean, they were totally up for that game. Beat their rival, feeling good. Now they're going on the road facing Detroit. It's just not that same spark for Montreal. And this Detroit team, I think, has got the potential to be very good. I don't know about playoff good because it's still not going to be easy, but they're going to be a much improved hockey team. Like that Husso's in net. Detroit, I think, wins this hockey. I like what they've done. David Perron, Andrew Kopp, experienced players. Mo Sider on the back end. They add to it with Oli Mata and Ben Sherratt, two very experienced defensemen. The forward group is outstanding. They can score goals. And I didn't even mention all the guys they bring back from the Kubalik. What if he bounces back? What if he looks like the Kubalik in his rookie year when he scored 30 goals for Chicago?
Don't you think they've given us a sign by putting him on the fourth line?
That's the thing. He was quiet in the preseason, and that's hard work ethic's been a little bit of an issue for him, is what they've criticized of him. It's not willing to work for the goals some of the time. But they got Vrana, they've got Bertuzzi, they've got Dylan Larkin, of course, who had an outstanding year. I think it's just one of those classic spots for a very young Montreal team. They were all high for the Toronto game, and it's, I think, fall back down to earth a little. No, there's going to be spots to bet Montreal. I do agree with that. They're going to be competitive. They're going to be feisty. We saw that against Toronto, but it's going to be spots that they're up for. It's going to be spots that the opponent is maybe taking them for granted, like Toronto the other night. That's probably not going to be the case here. Montreal's not going to have that same, wow, we were so excited to play Detroit like Toronto. And number two, it's Detroit's home opener. They want to put on a good performance here. And I still think roster-wise, personnel-wise, the better of these two teams. So I'm going to do Detroit in regulation here.
Well, let's hook you up. By the way, Merzlikins is not coming back from the illness. That's just been confirmed by Ron Crawford. So Merzlikins not coming back. Tarasov confirmed. Thank you for sharing that with us, Ron. So we have an NHL spreadsheet play today from Ron Crawford with the Tampa Bay Lightning. What's the line that you're getting on the Red Wings?
Let me just check. Okay. Hold on.
No worries. Why don't you grab that for us while we are moving on to
107. Oh, great price. Minus 107 at Pinnacle.
Minus 107 in regulation. And look, I'm cheering for the Red Wings. I have their point total over, and I have them to make the playoffs. I agree with you, but man, I'm not sitting here like expecting them to make the playoffs. But the risk reward worked for me, and I was comfortable making the bet. So let's move on to the next spot on the board. That is 8 p.m. Eastern, New York Rangers at Winnipeg Jets. Yaroslav Halak, I know he took a lot of heat yesterday, and he's done it before, but for the first 5 months or 4 months of the regular season last year, he was very good. He was a very good backup for the Vancouver Canucks, one of the best in the league. Then he fell off badly in the last little bit of the season, but I don't think he is just trash. Matty Ice, I'm 4 hours. I'm 4-hour drive. I could probably get there a little bit faster than that. Maybe 3.5-hour drive to Detroit. And no, I'm not. We have Yaroslav Halak. No, I'm not in goal. Chris Bergoni and Connor Hellebuck. Will Connor Hellebuck have the? Look, this was a Vezina Trophy winner who was terrible last year. So we've seen this happen to goaltenders. We saw it happen to Gibson in Anaheim, and we're still waiting for him. And Gibson's only 29 years old. Hellebuck's not old. So I can no longer sit back and say, oh, it was a bad year. He's going to bounce back and be great again because of Gibson. So also a very important note for the Jets is, Bonus took the C off of Wheeler, and Dubois is hurt. He has a lower body injury, but I don't know. He's not being ruled out. I don't know if you have the ins on what's going on with Dubois, but don't put it past the Rangers to be very good again here tonight. I don't want to bet them because, it feels like home opener in Winnipeg. I love backing Winnipeg at home in the past. I don't know if that's going to be a spot this year where I do it, but the Jets have taken 8 cents. They've gone from minus 121 to minus 129. This total has gone from 6 to 6.5. And when we go over to the cash flow in this Rangers Jets spot, we have 51% of the tickets and 84% of the cash on the Jets. I think that's telling. And then 30% tickets, 60% cash on the under. Take it away for us, Bobano, Rangers, Jets.
So for Winnipeg, a team that I don't think is going to have a great season, and I didn't like them coming into the season. But I will say this. They've really, really worked on defense here in training camp with Rick Bowness, because he says that's the issue that we needed to get improve on, and that's been the focus for them. So let's see if this Jets team plays some solid defensive hockey here in this game. So the reason I mention that is because I'm kind of leaning under 6.5 here. If you remember Rick Bowness last year with Dallas, he didn't want that team playing 5-4, 6-5 games. He wanted them playing lower scoring games. The 90% of the focus in Jets training camp was defensive side of the puck. They were, to fix that. We talked about, obviously, the dressing room issues for sure for the Winnipeg Jets as well that he was trying to iron out. They take the C away from Blake Wheeler. Obviously, at the time, we're like, what's going on? At least publicly, it looks like everybody's cool with that, and they're ready to get the season started. So I'm fascinated to see what Winnipeg looks like, because we know last year the offense was fine, defense was not. So let's see how they fare here in their home opener. It is a slam dunk spot. Like, if you're talking about from a situational perspective or a spot perspective, it's a slam dunk Winnipeg spot. There's no question about that. I mean, the Rangers are on a back-to-back. They got a big win on the road against a very good Minnesota team that they played Shesterkin against. And by the way, the Rangers look awesome. Kreider, Zibanejad's been great in just 2 games. Capo Caco is rewarding his head coach for putting him on the top line. He looks like he's finally ready to live up to that first-round talent that he's been the last few years. But it is a slam dunk spot for the Jets. I mean, to me, I could only take the Jets in this spot, especially we know it'll be Jaro Halak, who, let's be honest, it wasn't a great year for him last year, Jaro Halak in a backup role. I mean, his numbers weren't great. He had a couple good starts, but still, overall, the goals against, 2.94, almost a 3, which isn't spectacular. Only a .903 save percentage. Each of the last 2 years, his save percentage has been barely above 900. So that's not great by any stretch of the imagination. So I could only take the Jets in this spot. I can't lay it at this price, though, minus 135. This feels like Calgary, Colorado last night a little bit, where you've got a really good Colorado team as an underdog. You think, oh, this is great value. Kind of the Rangers tonight, they're an underdog. Oh, this great value. But there is one big difference. I took Calgary last night, laying the price against the champs. But Calgary's a really good hockey team. Calgary is a chance to win the West, win the Stanley Cup. So even though you were laying a price against the mighty Colorado Avalanche, you were laying a price with a team that's damn good, Calgary. I don't feel that way about laying $1.35 with Winnipeg over New York. Winnipeg's not damn good, all right? And even without Shesterkin on a back-to-back, this is a Rangers team I love enough to say, you know what? Yes, it's a home run spot for Winnipeg. Let's pump the fucking brakes on laying minus 135. And that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I well put, well done. And the reason why there's so much faith in the Rangers is because they have the number 1 overall pick, number 12 overall pick. It's Lafreniere and Kako. We saw what it did for the Penguins 15 years ago, 18 years ago. We saw what it did for the Blackhawks. I mean, this Rangers team is now set up, and we haven't even mentioned Zibanejad, Panarin, Fox. We haven't even mentioned these guys. And
yeah, regulation, Dan Bonner is good. I think if you like Winnipeg, the regulation line, you'll get a better value. But I'll tell you what, if Halak is not terrible, it wouldn't shock me the Rangers win this game because they are better than Winnipeg. We know that. On paper, they're certainly better than Winnipeg. But the spot and the downgrade to Halak is going to be just a stay off for me. Totally stay off. I mean, I think I could only take Winnipeg, but like I said, I'm not taking them at this price. And I'm not even rushing with the regulation line.
And how does that club feel about this coach coming in and ripping the C off of Wheeler's chest? You know, there's and interesting.
They said it wasn't a big deal. They said nothing but good things about Bonus publicly, but you never know if that's truly the deal inside the dressing room.
Well, look, Cindy plays horses feet on the ground in Winnipeg, and she says Jets get throttled tonight. So, very interesting. Loopy in the house says, "What up from the GTA? What up?" And Clint says, last season, the Lightning off an initial loss went to overtime their next game 9 out of 18 times, plus 300 or better for OT, risking 1 unit per spot. This angle went over 9 units last season, estimating a plus 300 line. And Fanatical Jim says Trocheck slotted perfectly too. I love Trocheck over there. It's a really good hockey team. It's just no getting around. I love Trouba. I love
people, and that's why when I said to someone I was talking about the card with late last night, today's card, someone I've known for years, good hockey bettor, and they said to me, "Doesn't this feel like the Calgary Colorado game last night, where why is Colorado such a big dog? Calgary laying such a big price. Doesn't it feel that way here with Rangers, Jets? Jets you got to take Winnipeg just like you took Calgary last night." And I said to him, "No, it's not the same thing. Calgary's best A game is close to on par with Colorado. I truly believe that. Mm-hmm. That's how good the Calgary Flames could be. You can't say that about Winnipeg. Winnipeg is not close to the Rangers, personnel-wise, talent-wise. So that's why it's a different situation. It's not the same as last night when we were laying the same type of price with Calgary over Colorado."
Yeah, no, I love it. All right, we move on to our next game. Now, yes, we are an hour and 5 minutes from Guardians Yankees. That's going to come up right after this one. So we have one more NHL game, and then we move into MLB. Lots of time for us to get action in if we want to. We move on to 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Carolina Hurricanes at San Jose Sharks. San Jose Sharks back from Europe, SAP Center in San Jose, California. Frederick Anderson versus James Reimer. There's been talk about, and what up, Lucky Power? Great to see you, my man. Talk about the Hurricanes' bad road record last year. One of the things I love about Rod Brindamore is his accountability, and any flaw he sees in his hockey team, he's going to mention over and over and over again. I think this is an enormously important road trip for Carolina and for this squad. And everybody is looking and seeing what the Rangers are doing. And so Carolina is the favorite to win that division. Won't have Patches back until February. And they saw, everybody's talking about the Rangers right now. And this Hurricanes team was plus 225 to win the division when the Rangers were plus 350, and we all moved on the Rangers. So San Jose is got an issue. Meyer is hurt, and we don't know if he's going to be in the lineup. Upper body injury, and this is a team that lacks depth, and having Timo Meyer out will really hurt them. They're also dealing with the travel, and I just think this Hurricane squad is a good hockey team. And I think San Jose will have trouble scoring all year long. So, look, I don't want to be sitting around here with road favorites throughout the season. But I just felt like Carolina and Tampa were in a situation that I wanted to back. So I moved on the Hurricanes on the -1 line, and I moved on the Sharks team total under 2.5. Bobano, take it away, Hurricane Sharks.
Yeah, this list looks a lot like what we saw last night with Dallas and Nashville. I like Dallas last night. Nashville's first time back and traveling back to North America following the games in Prague, Czech Republic. Now, San Jose does have an extra day compared to Nashville, where Nashville had to play last night. San Jose's playing tonight. But San Jose also got more travel. They're going from Czech Republic all the way now to the Pacific West Coast there in the Bay Area. So it's a tricky spot for San Jose. And it's a San Jose team that, look, I didn't bet against them in either of the games with Nashville because it was a game in Prague, Czech Republic. It was a game a long way away from home. And I didn't love Nashville enough to lay the kind of prices we were laying with Nashville, right? They were laying minus 170, minus 180 in those games. A million miles away from home. I'm not laying that kind of price, even though I want to fade San Jose at every opportunity. This could be this could be the worst team in the West. This could be the worst team in the NHL. San Jose this year. Unless Timo Meier and Tomas Hertl and Logan Couture are going to go off for them every single night, I don't know where they're going to get offense from anyone else in that forward group. I think it's very thin. The blue line is weak. The goaltending is got three goalies trying to masquerade as a legit number one goalie in the NHL. James Reimer, Kaapo Kakkonen, and the third goalie too, who's missing. Oh yeah, it's Kaapo Kakkonen and Reimer are the main two goalies. You're not going to see the third one anyway. Yeah, it's Reimer and Kakkonen. The other goalie was sent down. But yeah, when I look at this here, I like Carolina. The one thing I didn't do last night, Jimmy, was I did not double up on Dallas last night, and I considered it. I considered it last night with Dallas that, maybe they're going to jump on Nashville early and then ride it home to victory. And they were up 2-0 after the first period. Now, I did have Dallas full game money line, but that's all I had. I'm not going to make that mistake here. I'm going to double up with Carolina here tonight in this game. So I'm going to do a first period puck line on Carolina. -0.5, and let me just shop around, see what the best prices that is with that. -0.5 plus 141 at Pinnacle. See if I can beat that. Hold on one sec. No, that looks like that's about as good as we're going to do. Plus 141, -0.5, first period puck line, Carolina Hurricanes. And I'm also going to do Carolina. Let me just see here. It's Carolina, in regulation, -128. At Pinnacle as well. So Carolina -0.5 plus 141 first period puck line. Carolina in regulation -128. I think they'll get the job done. They had a nice 4-1 win against Columbus. Seth Jarvis, by the way, this guy's terrific, is on the top line for a reason with Teravainen and Aho. Scores a goal in the victory against Columbus. Actually displaced Svechnikov from the top line, and rightfully so. That kid's played great. And it actually putting Svechnikov outside the top line gives Rod Brind'Amour more options with his forward group now, which is good to see. You can play Svechnikov with Kotkaniemi, and Marty Necas, I think, is in line for a big year too. Seth Jarvis and Martin Necas are the two guys to keep an eye on for Carolina. I think they're both going to have a good year. Necas got on the scoreboard as well with a goal in the victory against Columbus. It's just you got the much better team. You got them in their first game on the road, so I expect focus from the Hurricanes, and they get to jump on a San Jose team playing their first game after coming back from the Czech Republic. And we saw Nashville in this spot last night. They didn't look like they had a whole lot in the tank. And I don't think there's going to be a whole lot in the tank here, no pun intended, the Shark Tank for the San Jose Sharks tonight. So Carolina first period puck line in regulation.
I like that. And Slatsy on the Brett Burns revenge factor plus 2.5 versus old team, had 6 in his first game for the Canes. And Birdie says, I wonder how much Carolina partied with Burns last night. I suspect he hit a few watering holes. And that does concern me a little bit. Matty I says, did you see that Kucherov has scored a goal in 8 straight games versus Columbus? Any goal for him is at plus 140. I did not know that. And then Mally Mal talks about the Canes being 0-6 in San Jose. That used to be a really, really tough place to play. Really, they had one of the biggest home ice advantages ever. I remember years ago they said that they had about 50,000 fans. That's it, and those fans were absolutely, intense nuts fans for the Sharks, and that place was so loud. And that's gone. That's changed. And so, but I hear what you were saying. And we also have a Matty Ice taint play of the day. Let's review NHL and get into MLB right this very second. In NHL, Ron Crawford has given us the NHL spreadsheet play of the day on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Ron, are you still in the chat? Is that going to be a -1 or is that? Oh, it's regulation. Sorry, it says right there. Tampa Bay in regulation is the NHL spreadsheet play of the day. For our Ron Crawford. And Ron, we love you, my man. I know this is a big day for you and your fam getting results back. So we're all thinking about you and
absolutely
as much love and positivity and just everything, prayer, everything we can to you, Ron. We love you. So thinking about you. I know it's a big day for you guys. Ron Crawford giving us the spreadsheet play of the day, Tampa in regulation. Then Bobano is, and I'm on Tampa Bay -1 and the Columbus team total under 2.5. And I got that team total under 2.5 at even money. I'd be very interested if you don't mind, if I could just see what that is right now. The one that I got at even money. We move over to Maine and see the team total now. Tell me it's juiced, please. That would make me feel a little better. -105. Whatever, 5 fucking cents. Bobano's on the Red Wings in regulation. I will be cheering that on. I can't wait to fade the Habs. And we talked about Matheson's injury, and I'm ready to do. You're not going to get value fading the Habs. So, I mean, you have to take them. You have to beat them on the puck line each night. But I'm ready to do that, but just not off the start of the year. Rangers, Jets, we have stayed off. And then Bobano, Hurricanes, first period -0.5 +141. Carolina in regulation. I'm on the Hurricanes -1. And I'm also on the Sharks team total under 2.5. And that is NHL. Lex Steele, ready to rock. We are all ready to rock. Let's get into Major League Baseball right now. We are less than an hour away from the ALDS game 2, Cleveland Guardians at New York Yankees in the Bronx, baby. Please welcome to the show the star of Say Hey Plays, Jose One Hole, Two Fingers Bouquett. Jose, how are you?
I'm doing well. Playoffs are going well. I'm going to make some more bets today, lock some in, and we're feeling good. So
now with your run in the playoffs, you were healthy in the black overall in the year.
Yeah, I have not done the math, but yeah, I'm up 7 units. I was down 5, I think, for the end of the year. So we're up 2 that's math right there for you.
Great job. Glad to hear it. Let's get to work. Cleveland Guardians at the Yankees, 63 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 6.4 miles per hour out to right center, stays between 6.2 and 6.4 miles per hour, and always stays towards right center. Let's take a look at the line history in this one. Move over to MLB. This one is going to be a lot of fun. I have some warnings given to us from TJ, and they're interesting warnings, and I have not bet this because I really want to back Bieber, but I have not done it. Let's take a look at the line history here. We have the Yankees opening up at -140. They're now -154. From a totals perspective, it opened up with the under at 6.5, -120. It is still there under 6.5. At -120. Take a look at the cash flow in this one. We have 32,684 tickets in. That includes the tickets that were bet yesterday in this. But it shouldn't, because when there's a date switch, you don't get that action at almost every book. The ticket is voided, but they count it here at Sports Insights. So we have 69% of the tickets on the Yankees and 90% of the cash. That was 94% of the cash even up until this morning. Then you have 37% of the tickets and 81% of the cash on the under, which tells me that Bieber is going to have a good start. Mally Mal on Bieber over 5.5 strikeouts, and Eric Nisbet is on the under 6.5. Nestor Cortez against Shane Bieber. We'll start with Bieber. And the note given to us from TJ says, big bet Yankees first 5. Says Yankees will hit Bieber. He says, I repeat and yell, Yankees will hit Bieber. They excel against soft tossers. That is the warning from TJ. And you call somebody a soft tosser in a bar and they get real riled up. And you guys know, anytime you see anybody with a jersey, you just say the last name of the jersey and you say nice tits before that. I had a guy wearing a Gruber jersey at a baseball game tried to climb like 8 levels, 8 fucking rows to get at me just because I said nice tits, Gruber. So just a couple things to help you out. Soft tosser and nice tits, Cortez. Bieber, last start, 7 2/3, 3. It's 1 earned run. It was a solo shot, 8 Ks, 1 walk, the 2-1 win at home versus the Rays. On the road this year, 8-3, 2.65 ERA, 235 opponent's batting average. Going up against Nestor Cortez, who has not pitched since October 1st. That's a long time. 13 days, 7 1/3, 1 hit, no earned runs, 12 Ks, 2 walks. He was dominant in an 8-0 win versus the Orioles. I asked our Dommy Gun Ricci what he thought about this long break. And this is what I got his answer. He says, if you listen to the beat guys, the only reason he didn't pitch game 1 was they didn't want to fuck with Cole's head. But I'm not thinking he's so much the better pitcher. I'm more concerned about the Guardians. They aren't hitting. They barely got by the Rays. The Yanks looked like they flipped the switch the other night. I kind of think the starters pitching kind of neutralizes each other. I worry Bieber lets up some home runs. Now with the extra day layoff, it won't matter to Cortez, but takes Bieber out of his norm. And now Bieber gets one game. Possibly two now. Possibly two. So gets one game, not possibly two. There we go. So that is from Dommy Gun Ricci. At home, Nestor Cortez was lights out. 6-1, 1.95 ERA, 161 opponents batting average. Guardians versus lefties in the last 44 days, 279, 698 OPS. Lots of they're getting two balls just with no power, not barreling up. Yankees versus righties, 254, 781, and both bullpens have been very good, but the Guardians bullpen has been better. Let's start with our Jose Bouquett. We'll go to Bobano to start off the next one. Jose, Cleveland, Yankees, take it away.
Man, oh man, do I want to take the Cleveland Guardians. I'm back and forth on it. I've been back and forth on it all morning. It opened up, I think it was like minus 120 to the Yankees or something like that, and it's just gone up and up and up, and it's worried me. I'm like, am I just gonna keep going against this large like market move or whatever we're doing? I just ultimately right now I have not bet anything on this game. I trust Bieber to pitch well. I felt like that rain delay was just telegraphed. That rain was there for a while, so I felt like mentally like it wasn't one of those things where he pitched and then stopped, and the rain delay happened. I think it was pretty obvious it was going to happen. No appearances against the Yankees this year, which is interesting. So yeah, they have not seen this new Shane Bieber that throws a little softer, but I wouldn't call him a soft tosser if we're gonna be talking about that. Nestor, I think, is the best pitcher on the Yankees. I've said that throughout the year. I wouldn't necessarily hate a first 5 under, but it's a 6 for the total. So no thank you there. I lean Guardians. I bet the Guardians total or not total. I bet the Guardians for the series again after they lost game 1. I've got them plus 185 and plus 320. So I think I'm just going to have to ride those out. But I do lean Guardians here. I think the Guardians win this game. I think they win. I think it's tomorrow, I guess now. Today's Friday, so yeah, I guess it would be tomorrow. I guess they win tomorrow in Cleveland with T-Mac on the mound, and then the Yankee pressure really mounts.
About the speed and velocity, 91.5 miles per hour was his average fastball velocity. So that is down 2.8 miles per hour from 2020 and 1.4 miles per hour from 2021. But it's fair to say that, is that really a soft tosser? Bieber, Sharpie on Bieber to get the win at plus 215, Cleveland first 5 plus 115. For me, it's Bieber or no bet, but I'm still at no bet right now. And Noli No says, what matters more, miles per hour or ERA? So look, let's hear what Bobano has to say. Bobano, take it away here for us. This game pops off in 48 minutes. Guardians, Yankees, game 2, ALDS.
I want to take Cleveland in this individual game, no question. Game 2, Bieber getting this price, but Cortez has been lights out. He's been what is he on a 2-game shutout streak? He's given up 1 run in the last 4 straight starts. The 12-3 in his home starts are the Yankees. 3-0, and it's like all the numbers point to Cortez. He's too good right now to go against him. But I want to take this price with Cleveland. I've already got Cleveland in the series. I have a series price bet on Cleveland. I thought they were live in this series with the way they can pitch, the way they play defense, the way they run the bases, the way they move runners over. I mean, they're so fundamentally sound with the way they play the game that was going to be something that would be a thorn in the Yankees' side. And the bullpen's been good for the most part for Cleveland as well. I trusted them. But the offense, it can be a little spotty. We saw that in the first game. We know Cortez has just been dominant right now. So do we trust the Cleveland Guardians to get any sort of production with their lineup today against Cortez, who's been just absolutely phenomenal, especially at home? He's got a sub-2 ERA at Yankee Stadium. I mean, just absolutely incredible. So, yeah, I want to take this price with Cleveland. I think Cleveland. Here's another thing that concerns me. You're pitching at Yankee Stadium. So what does that mean? That means you better keep the ball in the park, right? You better be able to negate the home run ball. Well, if you look at Nestor Cortez, what's he had? No home runs allowed in the last 5 starts. And then you look at Justin Bieber, he's given up a home run in 4 of his last 5 starts. That's concerning when you're pitching at Yankee Stadium. So I'm going to cheer for Cleveland. I don't want the Yankees to win. I don't particularly like the Yankees. And certainly from a betting perspective, I want Cleveland to win because I have them in the series price bet around plus. What did I get on that? +1. I'll check that out what it is. But I'm on the series price with Cleveland. I'm just going to root for it. And we'll keep it at +185. That's what I got with the series price on Cleveland, +185. So I'm going to root for the series price, cheer for a Cleveland win, and I don't think I'm going to bet them individually today.
Yeah, that all makes a ton of sense to me. I would like to bet them. But I don't know if I can.
They aren't hitting the Tampa series that they won. That was all their terrific defense, terrific pitching, terrific bullpen. They did not hit in that Tampa series. Tommy Gunn is right there. That lineup is just something's off right now. If Jose Ramirez isn't hitting, who else is? And Quan stepped up a little bit, but outside of those 2 guys, not a whole lot.
My pushback on that would just be that in Cleveland, again, it was incredibly windy in the 2 games there. It was like double digit, 13, 15 mile an hour winds. And that doesn't help, obviously, offensively. And then Garrett Cole finally has a fucking good playoff start for the first time in his damn life. So I think the Guardians offense is right now probably a little criminally underrated, but he hasn't put up the numbers. So I think they can and will put up numbers today.
Yeah, the only thing I've got remaining right now is that Braves to win the series at +130 that Jose got a whole bunch of us on. That's the only thing I have remaining. I cashed the Mariners +115 yesterday. I haven't had a ton of action throughout. And I
think if you like Cleveland today, you bet the series price. You don't bet this game. You bet the series price because then it's 1-1 going back to Cleveland now for game 3 or after this.
Yeah, I got it at +320. So it's kind of like the Braves bet on steroids, but yeah.
And the biggest bet for Sharpie is Bieber to go over 17.5 outs. So what I will do is I will cheer on both you guys on your series. Look for the Guardians. I will cheer Sharpie on his Bieber action, and both Noli knows on that under and Bieber first 5. So Sharpie on the Cleveland first 5.
Noli?
Say what, my man?
Noli's on the full game under?
He's on the full game under and the first 5 tribe.
Yeah, what a ballsy man. That full game under 6.
Well, he made a lot of money yesterday, and I believe he got that at 6.5. Let me just double check. You can still get that at 6.5, can you? At some spots.
Our friends at Bet Online have the 6 at I think it was at plus money, I believe, but yeah, it's tough. That's tough to bet. So shout out to Noli, man. He is the Undertaker for a reason.
The 6.5's right. Oh yeah, you're right. Damn. Yeah, 6.5's are -120. You can get 6.5 at Heritage -113. Heritage is a good book, man. Okay. So that's the game that pops off in about 35-40 minutes. Let's move on to game 2, 4:37 p.m. Eastern. Game 2 on today's card, but game 3 of the NLDS series is tied 1-1. Braves 101-61 this year, and they showed out in that very important game 2 at home. Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We will start with the weather here. Move this over. In Philly, 66 Fahrenheit, 5.4 miles per hour left to right, goes down to 4.1 miles per hour. We'll move down to the line history next for this one. Strider versus Nola. We have it opening up with the Braves +104. Now the Braves are -106. It was interesting that RotoWire had Morton pitching. I was like, I guess they're saving Strider for game 4. Does that make sense? I was trying to put piece it all together what was happening, but of course not. This is a must win right now, and Strider's pitching, and I don't know why they had that information.
Decision. I'll admit it was a tough decision. Strider hasn't pitched since the 18th of September. You don't know what he's going to give you. They haven't thrown him in a rehab start because no MILB, obviously. So that's tough. And say he goes 5, you burn your bullpen, and you've got 3 days of games coming up after this. So it's a tough choice. I capped it last night with Spin Doc, and we just did both Morton and Strider because we were like, it's a tough choice. But yeah, no, it's Strider.
I don't think it's that tough. I mean, 2 starts back, Morton got destroyed by this Phillies lineup.
I trust Charlie Morton in the playoffs. I truly, truly believe he's a really good playoff pitcher in the regular season, the end of the regular season. I obviously the Phillies lineup, seeing him again in such recent succession is not ideal, but I trust playoff Charlie.
So if you were coaching this game, you would start Charlie Morton over Spencer Strider.
I would have thought long and hard about it, like Snicker, but he's probably going to throw in game 4. So it's, like I said, it's a tough choice. So you got to win this game. So Strider probably the choice, but he's throwing in game 4.
And Sharpie says Strider's not throwing off the mound only 2 times. Sorry, he's not going more than 3 innings. Bullpen day.
Yeah, and that's that. And they're going to burn the bullpen, and you've got 3 straight days of games. So that's the part that's going to make it tough for Snicker. So again, we'll see. And I thought that Strider could be the closer of this ball club, and we'll see what happens there. But no, I think it would be interesting if he goes 5, which I think would be the max. I would be very surprised. Like Sharpie is saying, 3 innings probably what he's going to, but I don't know. So ultimate questions.
The market is betwixt here 55% of the tickets on the Braves, 54% of the cash, then 34% of the tickets, 72% of the cash on the under. When we're talking about why the under would be still bet, the Braves bullpen has been so good for a while. Last 40 days, they've been excellent. 2.11 ERA, 0.95 whip. Nola's last start was excellent. 2-0 win at the Cardinals. He's been good at home and on the road this year. They haven't backed him with offense when he's pitched, but he's a very strong pitcher. The issue will always be this Phillies bullpen, even though it hasn't looked so bad here in the playoffs. Bobano, we start with you here. Braves, Phillies. Take it away.
I'm going to make this. I'm going to, what's the total? Is it still, it's 6.5. It looks like here with that. With Strider not having pitched since, mid-September, I get that Nola is pretty good, especially down in the second half of the year. We've seen Nola pitch very well. You look at it, he had a shutout in 3 of his 4 starts. You give him credit for that. He's pitched extremely well. He shut out the Braves down the stretch, 9-1 in September. We'll see if he can carry that over here, but it's worth noting before that start, he had 3 really bad ones against Atlanta. I don't know if Strider is going to be terrific, and he's on a low pitch count, so you're going to see a lot of Atlanta bullpen. Philly's bullpen hasn't been great since the All-Star break, and that's concerning. I see this total with these lineups at 6.5. I've got to play over. I have to at this number, because I get it. Strider on his best day can be very good, can be dominant, but we're not going to see him much, even if he does pitch well, early in this baseball game. Nola, we talked about Nola all year, how, at home, we usually think he's putting up great numbers and he's dominant here at Citizens Bank ballpark. But to be truthful, this not been one of his best years pitching in his home ballpark. 3.53 is still okay for the home ERA, but it's actually higher than his overall ERA. So I just look at 6.5 with these lineups. We saw high scoring game 1. Obviously, game 2, it settled down a little bit, but you're going to give me 6.5 here with these lineups, which are capable. And the bullpens, I think, in the back end, you're going to see a lot more Atlanta relievers. I think Atlanta's, high leverage guys are really good. I think you're probably going to see more of their middle relief, and that's where they're a little spotty, the bullpen. And as I said, Philly's bullpen is not consistently a bullpen that I trust to shut down teams and put up zeros. So it's 6.5 over -120, 6.5. I'm in.
We are locking you in for that. Jose Bouquett. What is your thoughts here? What are you making official, if anything?
I like Ian's look. I like the over. I'm not on it, but I do like it. I made this official as soon as the lines, as soon as I woke up and I saw the lines. Braves first 5, Braves full game. I said after or before the series, it was going to be Phillies game 1, and the Braves win the rest of the games, unfortunately. And I also am the guy that said that Philadelphia is going to have a little renaissance right now. I mean, this has been said by me a couple times now. The Phillies are farthest they've been in the playoffs in fucking however long. They won a game. They've peaked. Now they lose. The 76ers are going to be good. We won't talk about the Flyers. And then the Eagles are going to make the Super Bowl, in my opinion. So the Philadelphia renaissance continues, but I think if you take a little gut punch here, it comes back to reality. I was going to make this bet either pitcher coming in with Morton or Strider. I was going to go first 5 full game because I just trust the offense. The offense is it was ultimately the backbone of this team with a really good pitching staff, and that's why I think they're going to win the World Series, or at least be in it. Aaron Nola, 5 starts again against Atlanta. Ian mentioned them. Last time out, 6 innings, 4 hits, no earned runs. Great. That was in September, but that was off a back-to-back. He had that one good start, and then the first start of that back-to-back, he went 7 innings, 7 hits, 4 earned runs. So I'm not trusting him there, and we can talk about the starts further in July and June where he gave up 5 earned runs and 4 earned runs in 6 and 7 innings there. Aaron Nola, congratulations. You've had your best run of your career. I think at some point it ends, and I think it ends here with the Braves lineup that have seen him before. And obviously the biggest question mark is what are we going to get from Strider? What are we going to get from Strider? I personally think he goes 5. Sharpie doesn't think he goes 3. I think he goes 5 here. And I'll be excited. I'll be excited to see how it goes for this Brave squad. Because this is a very, very important game for the series bet for, I guess, my bankroll, because I'm first 5 full game. I am just ultimate trust in the Atlanta Braves. And I think they win here and win the rest of these games.
I'm going to let my series bet do the talking for me financially, but I will definitely be cheering on your action, Jose. Atlanta first 5 money line at -110, full game at -108, and Bobano on the over 6.5. By the way, Bobano, we found you at -115 for that over 6.5. All right, let's move on here to the next spot on the board. And Sharpie says Braves coach has said in reports no more than 45 pitches. Braves under first 5 of 3.5 is what Razor is looking at. And I think that does make a lot of sense. 3.5 at -120. Expecting Nola to have a good start.
Throw him out of the bullpen at that point. Just use him as your closer, because Kenley's been fine, but I think Morton should have pitched today, truthfully.
I wonder about that first 5 under.
And Coy, by the way, mentioning the thing we mentioned after game 1, winner of this game wins the series, question mark. No, I think the Braves come back and win the next game, no matter. I think the Braves win the next game. And it's just this game will decide the Phillies say, well, we're going 5 or we're going back to Atlanta. Or is this going to be a gentleman's? So we'll see.
I do like that under first 5 under 3.5, but I'm sitting here with the Braves +130. Why mess with what I think is a good ROI situation here? And so I guess I don't move, but that would be of great interest here. All right, let's move on to the final game here. 8:37 p.m. Eastern, game 3 of Dodgers Friars. Tony Gonsolin. We last saw him pitch 2 innings on October 3rd. He allowed 3 hits, 1 earned run, 3 Ks. He missed 40 games with forearm tightness. And he said that in the bullpen before the game, he was nervous. He felt very nervous. That kind of caught me by surprise here. Is he going to be nervous in this one? If you're nervous coming back and then you don't pitch for 11 days in the game, he's got to be nervous here. And he's been excellent this year. 16-1, 2.14 ERA, 0.87 whip, 130 in the third innings, 119 Ks, 35 walks. On the road, his numbers were, I mean, still spectacular. We're 7-0, 2.66 ERA, 187 opponent's batting average, going up against Blake Snell. Blake Snell did not look very good in that 7-3 loss at the Mets. 3 in the third, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 5 Ks, 6 walks. He has been slightly worse at home than he's been on the road, but I'm sure he's got comfort at home. And the Dodgers over the last 44 days are hitting 227, 715 OPS versus lefties, while the Padres are 233, 678 versus righties. Dodgers bullpen's been very, very good. So that's the situation. Let's take a look at the weather. First off, we have 68 Fahrenheit, 7.1 miles per hour out to right field, then dies down to 5.8. It's warm, nice and warm. Then we'll move over to the line history here. Gonsolin versus Snell. And we have an 8-cent move on the Padres or 9 on the Dodgers. The Padres gone from plus 116 to 108. So a move on the Padres, and this Dodgers team opened up minus 126. They're down to minus 117. From a totals perspective, it opened up at 7.5, and it's back at 7. It did get to 7 at 5:40 this morning, and then kind of bounced back to 7.5. It's sitting at 7 right now. The under 7 is plus money, so you can still get a 7.5. When we take a look at the cash flow in this one, 15,623 tickets in, and 63% of tickets, 65% of the cash on the Dodgers, and 60% of tickets, 65% of the cash on the over. We will start with you, Bobano. Take it away, Dodgers, Padres.
So Dodgers lose one game, and all of a sudden we're souring on them to this extent. I mean, they're near a pick-em here in this game. That's a little stunning to me. Now, I know it's Tony Gonsolin. It's not a guy that's necessarily, and Billy's mentioning his postseason numbers. They're pretty ugly. But, boy, I mean, we know that the Dodgers off a loss is usually pretty good. And Blake Snell hasn't been nearly as good. Late now at home, we know he's been at his best this year. He's definitely been better at home. No question about that. 3.56 ERA, good, solid home numbers. But last 4 starts, solid. But, against the Dodgers, we'll see. He's faced them 3 times. 2 of those starts were pretty good, but he did have some walks, got around some trouble. And then that one start, he got roughed up for 5 runs, 7 hits, 4 innings. So difficult in terms of Blake Snell, trusting him here against the Dodgers team off that loss. Like I say, Gonsolin, his postseason numbers aren't great, but when you ask this guy to, start a game for you, he didn't always pitch a lot of innings. Usually 5, 6 at the most is what you got out of him. He had a few games there where he got into the 7th, but usually he's more of a 5, 6 inning guy. But still, he's had an overall pretty good year, 2.14 ERA. You can't really shy away from that. The record for the Dodgers with Gonsolin starting a game for them is 19-5. That's pretty good. 9-3 on the road. You've got this Dodgers team off a loss. It's just funny to me that the people are really, really concerned about the Dodgers just after one loss. People thought they could sweep this Padres team just before game 2. And now all of a sudden we're worried about the Dodgers. I'm not. I like the Dodgers here. We'll go money line and we'll go over the total. I think there's going to be an over series. From the beginning, I said there's going to be an over series. There's a mistake that they're putting these totals 6.5, 7, the way they're doing this. And I think we're going to see runs here again tonight with these 2 teams. So Dodgers money line for me, best price looks to be minus 115 right now at 5 dimes. And the best price for the over 7 looks to be minus 119 at Unibet. There we go.
Over 7 at minus 119, Dodgers minus 115, and Razor Sharp Picks. Gambler's First Glance is in, and he is on the Padres money line for Razor. You can live bet with Razor all night tonight with Navy SMU right here with Dabby Cab on Pub Sports Radio. Shout out to our Razor Sharp Picks. Razor and Bobano going head-to-head. What is Jose Bouquett doing?
This is fucking tough, guys. This is a really, really difficult game for me because everyone knows how I feel about Tony Gonsolin, especially Noli, who, shout out to Noli, will be at this game. So I mean, that's a big factor in my head. Truthfully, I want to bet on the Dodgers just on that alone. But damn, I think it's a Padres spot. What did I say? I said this going into the postseason as well. I don't think the Dodgers are going to win the World Series. I think they're a team that folds in the playoffs for whatever reason it is every year. Bad management by Dave Roberts, a shitty performance by Kershaw when they need it the most. It always seems to fall apart on the Dodgers. And, sometimes they face really good teams like the Atlanta Braves and they lose. So I go back and forth on this game a lot. And I think it's super, super tough. But honestly, I'm thinking of laying the dog price. Give me the dog or the Padres tonight. And now, do I have the balls to go full game? I don't know. Because I think I'm going to just take first 5 Padres. And I think I'm going to also take first 5 Padres team total over 1.5 at -123. Not my favorite juice. But I think Gonsolin's vulnerable. And I think I've been waiting for him to get to the playoffs all year. And I've said that when the playoffs come, and if he's your best pitcher, I don't know what we're going to do here. And, obviously they've got Urias and Kershaw who have been up and down, but mostly they're both been good this year. I think this is a Blake Snell bounce back spot on a team he's seen a lot. His last start against them was the second to last start going into the playoffs. 5 innings of 1 hit ball, no earned runs, 6 Ks, 3 walks. His other 2 starts, his other one was later in mid-September, 4 innings, 7 hits, 5 earned runs at home. So that's a concern. And his July start at the Dodgers, 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 12 Ks, 4 walks. I'm concerned. I'm concerned. I'm worried. This is not my most confident bet I've made in the postseason. The Dodgers offense is terrifying against lefties this year, full season. They're 8th, 113 weighted runs created plus. And in October so far, 124 weighted runs created plus. But damn, I'm taking your fathers. As I've tweeted before, these aren't your fathers' fathers. Think they can win this game. And if the Dodgers go down 2-1, I'd be very interested to see what the series price is for those Los Angeles Dodgers. I'd be very interested to see if we got like a +150, something like that, because you can get a +140. I think that's what Joe Yurkovich said. Right now, you can get them at on the series. So I think it's just a Padres spot, and shockingly enough, I think I'm going to bet on him, and that's scary. That is scary to me.
I am in business. Thank you to all the insights from the chat and from you two. I am going to be on the first 5 over 3.5 and the Padres first 3. And I'm going to pay a little bit of juice to take the Padres first 3 instead of first 5. I don't want Snell in the 4th and 5th innings, honestly. I want Snell the first time through those batters, not the second time. And we know that the Padres don't want him on the hill through a 3rd time. So
that's true. I've seen him labor a ton. That's 4th, 5th, 6th innings, 2nd and 3rd turn through the lineup. Yeah.
Yeah. So I love this. I love this. And we all remember when he was pulled in the pandemic World Series, and much to his chagrin, he was pitching beautifully. Will he be able to do that here? I trust the guy in big time situations. And look, I could be completely wrong about Gonsolin, but hearing him talk about how he was nervous in the bullpen, all that stuff, I was like, okay, all right. Now you have 11 days off in a 1-1 series in the enemy's ballpark. Are you going to come in, balls out and confident? Are you going to be nervous then? It did kind of, unfortunately, lean me in this. Well, we'll see. But we have a ton of action on this game. Bobano on the Dodgers, Damigun Ricci on the Dodgers, and Razor Sharp Picks dropping a big $500 parlay as well. Whoa, let's get this one copied and pasted here. Phillies, Padres, Indians, or Guardians for $4,357 casher. Ooh, we copied and pasted that. I'd love to hear JP's going to be on his Dodgers. Can everybody in the chat tell us who they are on in this game? Because this one, we've got both sides of the ledger. A first inning run for Joe Yurkovich. Interesting. Piker says, look at the juice moving the Padres. Books want Dodger action here. I believe that's true. There we go. All right. So I'm on the first 5 over 3.5 and the first 3 Padres. Jose's on the Padres first 5 team total over 1.5 and the Padres first 5. Bobano is on the Dodgers minus 115 on the money line, the over 7. Gambler's first glance is the Padres money line. This is going to be fun. Johnny K is on the Dodgers money line. Nuke Worker is on the Dodgers full game. As I said, Joe Yurkovich on run first inning, yes, at plus 120. Wine Time Sports is on the other side with the Padres money line. So is Andrew Carr. This is really fascinating that we're on either side. So a quick review of action here. Kevin K on the Dodgers. Markel on the Canes team total over. I guess you can talk about anything. Fuck it. Piker says Snell will be Maddox-esque tonight. I can't compare.
I'm just going to say this. Don't let the Padres, if you're a Dodgers fan, don't let the Padres win the series. If the Padres win this series, fuck the 14-5 record. Padres fans are just going to be talking that.
I agree. I don't want to hear any bullshit about the regular season success if they lose this series.
Yeah, they're going to be talking that talk.
Yeah.
And it's going to be fucking tough to be like Noli. Oh, man, I'd feel real bad. So, yeah.
Sky Dragon says he didn't bother capping it. Why? Why bother, Sky Dragon? He just naps and runs. And he's on San Diego money line every game. There'll be a dog in every game, and I expect them to win the series. DJ Big Boss says haters. And Joe River says these lineups are too good for unders here. B-Ball 619, who is in San Diego, who met us at Santa Anita. He is on Machado over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Why not? He's Manny fucking Machado. All right.
Your favorite.
Yeah, I do not like him. I do not like Manny fucking Machado. All right, so here we go. This is a review of all action in MLB before we get into NCAA football. Sharpie is on Bieber to get the win at plus 250. Cleveland first 5 at plus 115. And his biggest bet of the day is Bieber to go over 17.5 outs. Also, Noli knows on the Guardians first 5 and the under 6.5. I believe it was 6.5 that he got. And TJ says, big bet Yankees first 5. It's wild that we have people on either side. Except for the NLDS, we don't have a lot of people saying Phillies. A few in the chat did. Bobano's on the over 6.5. Jose's on the Braves first 5 and full game. And I'm just letting my Braves plus 130 series price do the talking. You know, why put myself in a situation? You know, it's a beautiful, beautiful situation I'm in thanks to Jose, and I'm just not going to fuck with it. I'm on the first 5 over 3.5 in the first 3 Padres. Jose's on the Padres first 5 team total over 1.5. Padres first 5. Bobano Dodgers and the over 7. Joe Yurkovich riding with me on that over 3.5. And Guillermo says there'll be 3-1 Dodger fans in San Diego tonight.
You know, I've heard both sides of that, by the way. I just want to point that out. I've heard people like G, and I believe Sharpie also said this too. I don't remember. I'm not 100% sure on that one. So Sharpie can beat me up later. But I've heard Dodgers fans are gonna be everywhere. They're gonna fill up the stadium, dude. Don't fucking worry. And then I've heard Moose on the other side say, "What are you talking? Padres fans? We're gonna fill up that whole stadium. It's gonna be a sellout, dude. Padres for life." So I don't know what the fuck to expect on that side.
I will take offense for Moose on that impression of him.
So. Well, you know.
There it is. And don't forget, you guys, Jose is putting out his Say Hey Plays night as soon as the games are over. First to the market. So check them out. If you're doing anything around midnight, they'll be up and add them at Hub Sports Radio. So keep an eye out for that. I'll also help with retweeting all of that. All right, there you have it.
Let's go, Sky Dargan. Me and you, Sky Dargan. Fuck the Dodgers today. And Noli, good luck at the game. I hope you have a lot of fun.
Oh, what a great game that would be to be at. All right, we move on to NCAA football now. We have Bobano hanging out with us for the first 2 games that we're breaking down. So he's here for the Friday night action with our next guest, and then it will be just DJ Big Boss night for Saturday action. Please welcome to the show the star of our Saturday NCAA football Pub Hub, coming to us from Long Beach, California. A man we love dearly here. Please welcome DJ Big Boss.
What up, thou? Welcome to Miss Boss Burgers, home of the Boss Burgers. Let me take y'all order right now. We got the adult boxes over here too. We got the Jimmy the Bag adult box. You get a Boss Burger, you get some Boss fries, you get a nice any kind of shake you like, and then as a toy, you get a little tank tickler right here.
Ooh, Jesus.
Wow.
I think I'm gonna fucking pass.
You've got all
on
your
the
needs
toy.
covered right there. Boss
you're-
Burgers.
I think you're gonna find that toy in the parking lot after your shift. There, I think you're gonna find fucking kids throwing it back and forth, not knowing what it is. But yeah,
Exactly. It's just for a limited time only. So you get them while they're hot. Next week we're gonna have the muzzle for you guys. That's real freaky out there. But right now we just got a nice little tank tickler. You can just do whatever you like to do with it. You know what I'm saying?
fucking muscle.
Check it out. It's a 3-speed. You know what I'm saying? Ging, 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 ging.
3-speed tank tickler, and then a muzzle. Better's Bet joining us. We've got a great group. Let's get into NCAA football right here, right now. A couple fascinating games tonight, and then we have 5 games that Big Boss has picked out for Saturday. We start with the game that will be live right here on Pub Sports Radio with Razor Sharp Picks and Dabby Cab, and that is the Navy Midshipmen. 2-3, 2-1 in the American at the SMU Mustangs, 2-3, 0-1 in the American, Gerald J. Ford Stadium in Dallas, Texas. And another way to start this is by our friend Matty Ice. The Taint play of the day resides here, and it is both teams to score 10 in the first half. Both teams to score 10 in the first half. Navy SMU, he's getting that at minus 105. And that, my friends, will go perfectly with the Taint tickler. All right, let's talk about this spot here. We'll start with the line history here. Oh, shoot, let's move over. Okay, it's going to take, here we go. The line history here with Navy versus SMU. SMU coming off that ugly loss that was, I believe it was last week's Friday night game here. Let's take a look at the line history here. We have SMU.
The Wednesday game that was rescheduled because of the hurricane at UCF last
Good
Wednesday.
call.
Yep.
Yeah. SMU opening up minus 12.5, still at minus 12.5. So a 6-cent move. And there's really been, there has been a ton of movement. My bad. So the initial move was towards Navy. Then it came back on SMU big. SMU got up to 14-point favorites on Tuesday. And went all the way back to 11.5. So a ton of movement. And now we're right back where we started. From a totals perspective, it opened up at 57. It's available right now at 56.5. When we go into the line history here, we have 15,408 tickets in. 37% of the tickets and 44% of the cash is on SMU. Then we have 51% of the tickets and 73% of cash on the under, but it's not really moving that quickly. Navy has held 4 of its 5 opponents this season to 21 or fewer. 21 or fewer. Memphis put up 37 on them in week 2. That's the only game where they got really touched up. Navy bounced back off their 13-10 loss at Air Force by winning at home over Tulsa, 53-21 as 4.5-point dogs. And it was legit. They had 181 more yards, 10 more first downs. They finished with 455 yards rushing. That's their highest output since week 3 of 2018. Mustangs, they don't stop the run. They give up 176.4 yards per game on the ground this year. They come in off their 3rd straight loss, 41-19 setback at UCF as 3-point dogs. That 19 points were by far and away the least production they've had offensively this year. They averaged 34.6 points per game. 500 in total yards of offense they put up each game until the tough spot there against UCF. But we saw last night who UCF really is, and they're turning into just a hell of a football team. But the Mustangs, with their yards per game, lead the AAC and are 9th overall in FBS. And Rashee Rice is a B, 687 receiving yards. That's the 3rd highest total in all of FBS. We have DJ Big Boss joining us. Let's hear from him. Navy Midshipmen, SMU Mustangs, take it away.
Well, I can tell you guys why I'm off the game for the most part. This Navy team, though, has been really exciting. You know, I had counted them out. but the defense that they played in the Air Force game was phenomenal. And I thought they were going to stop right there, but they continue to improve. And that's what you got to be careful for this time of year in college football is improvement, because improvement can take them a long way, or it could be a fake results from their improvement. So this Navy team, if I had to make a play on it, I'm going to take with this young team the secondary's jumping around there good. Somehow they always find a way to move the ball. We could be looking at a different Navy team further down the line after they took a good Air Force whooping.
Do you think, is this a buy low spot on SMU, Bobano?
It might be, but I'll tell you what, if you look at series history, SMU has not had it easy against Navy. They've been close games. They've been tough games. Last year, 31-24. Year before, a little bit at 51-37, which was really the only big margin of victory SMU's had against Navy. And Navy was pretty bad that year. 35-28 Navy, 31-30 SMU, 43-40 Navy. I mean, it's been a competitive series. There's been a lot of close games. And look, Navy, we thought they were going to be pretty bad this year. They had that loss against Delaware. They had that blowout loss against Memphis. And because they were just so bad in those two games, the power rating dropped like a stone on Navy. And suddenly, that's when they started to get their season turned around, play better. And it's worth noting this is now multiple years in a row where Navy has played better football after their bye week. Last year, after their bye, they started to get better. There's been the years before that where they struggled a bit. They had a bye week, and then you got the best of Navy after that. Look, they had that bye week after that bad 0-2 start. Look what they've done since. They beat a very good East Carolina team outright as 16-point underdogs. They hang tough with a very good Air Force team. This is one of the better Air Force teams in years. They only lose 13-10. 14-point dogs they cover in that game. And then Tulsa last week, just destroyed the Golden Hurricane 53-21. So this is a team that's been dramatically undervalued. What have they beaten the point spread by, double-digit points each game? They've had a track record of playing SMU tough, and SMU can't stop the run. And that's a problem here against Navy's triple option offense. Lavatai is going to rely on his running backs, and I think they're going to be able to run the football. SMU is still struggling and getting gashed on the ground. They're giving up 145 rushing yards per game. Did you see what UCF did with that run-heavy offense last week against SMU? They went up and down against SMU. Couldn't stop it. SMU with that run defense, giving up a 4.5 yards per carry on the ground. That's not good against Navy. So I like Navy here, plus the points. I'm in agreement with Razor. Razor I see is on Navy. I like Navy here, plus the points. I also like the over in this game. I think there's going to be points. As much as I'm talking about how I think Navy's going to be able to run the football successfully against a shaky SMU run defense, I'm not convinced Navy has anybody in their secondary that's going to defend Rashay Rice for SMU. I think that's a tough matchup for them. They're not a good pass defense anyway. Not good at all, in fact. And Tanner Mordecai and SMU's passing game should be able to get going here as well. So I think a high-scoring back-and-forth game, and one that I don't think Navy ever loses contact. I think Navy's within single digits at the very least. So I like Navy with the points and also over the total. Both of them I'll make official.
Well, we can get you that minus 102 over at 5 dimes on the plus 12.5.
That's good.
The total here, we're going to grab for you, do some quick line shopping here. We can get you, this total is climbing, but we can still get you a 56.5 at both Bookmaker and BetCris.
That's good. Yeah, I'll get that, definitely.
Lock you in there. I would be in a complete agreement with you, and I am in agreement with you, but as you guys have seen, I've made a rule this year that I will not fade a team or sell low on them. And we did not expect SMU to be sitting here 2-3, 5 games into the season. And although I agree with you with the SMU's issues defending the run, I just will not all year long in CFL, NCAA football, and NFL, I will not fade a team at their low point, even if the numbers work. And I'm going to try to keep that going for the rest of my life. So other than
By the way, the home road trends favor Navy as well. SMU's 0-2 against the spread at home this year at Gerald Ford Stadium, and Navy's 2-0 ATS on the road. So I'll keep that in mind as well.
Yeah, I like it. And Boss, you are staying off this spot.
Absolutely. It's kind of tricky right there. But I don't think it's a buy low spot on SMU at all. I think SMU definitely could get a run for their money today for sure.
Yeah, no, I get it. If I know that if I stick to this black and white, it's going to work in my advantage in the long run. And it already has. It already has in spots. So let's move on. Bobano on Navy plus 12.5 minus 102. Razor Sharp picks moved on Navy plus 12.5. Bobano's also on the over 56.5. And the taint play of the day is Navy SMU. Both teams to score 10 in the first half at minus 105. There's Fat Wally in the house. We got John Smith, Jimmy Gomez, our guy. His son celebrated his 5th birthday recently. Much love to your family, Jimmy. What a great family you have, and you're a great dad. And, love to you.
Him in San Antonio, yes. Jimmy's
love to you, Jimmy Gomez, our guy. All right, let's move on here to the next spot tonight. And wonder if Jose Bouquett may be done his important doodles to come back here and rock with us. He is back.
Oh, yeah, UTSA. We can't get away from this team on Friday night.
You can't. You can only escape where you get. No. Conference USA. Come on.
UTSA Roadrunners 4-2, 2-0 in the Conference USA at the Florida International Panthers. 2-3, 0-1 in conference. We're at Ricardo Silva Stadium in Miami, Florida. We head to South Beach for this. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. UTSA opening up as 33.5-point favorites. And that's where they've stayed. There was an initial move. They did move to 34 a little bit, but they're back at 30. Actually, it's
sorry about it.
They got down to 32.5. They got down to 32.5 about 18 hours after this line came out, and then up to 34. So they're sitting at 33.5 right now. This total opened up at 63.5 and got down to 62.5 briefly, but it's at 63 right now. Let's take a look at the cash flow in this one. We have 8,448 tickets in. We have 44% of the tickets and 49% of the cash on UTSA. So it's a split. Then you have 39% of the tickets and 72% of the cash on the under. UTSA comes in off their 3rd straight win, 31-28 at home over Western Kentucky, a 6.5-point favorites. Trailer has promised us, and Jose will know more about this. We'll start with Jose, but Trailer has in the papers has said that he promises his squad will come out focused because of what happened against Texas Southern when they were 41-point favorites and it was 21-17 at the half. So he's been talking about this, I guess, all week long. Jose, your quarterback, Frank Harris, is playing very, very well.
Heisman.
2 weeks ago against Texas Southern, he went for 392 yards. And then Middle Tennessee, 414 yards. And then last Saturday, 275 yards passing, while he picked up 61 on the ground as well. Now, there are some issues here. Right tackle Mekhi Hart. Now, Demetrius Allen is also, he's done for the season. You have people questionable. Tatafu, Almaraz, and Hebert all questionable. They lead the conference in total offense at 498.3 yards per game. They average 37.3 points per game. FIU has some very ugly losses this year. They lost 73-0 at Western Kentucky as 31-point dogs. Now, Western Kentucky is a good football team, but the Hilltoppers put up 688 yards against Florida International. Then they followed it up with a surprise 21-7 win at New Mexico State as 16.5-point dogs. Then they get back to their losing ways at home. They lose 33-12 to UConn as 5.5-point dogs. The defense is bad against UConn. Weak UConn, they allowed 402 yards, 295 on the ground. Grayson James, 28 for 43, 256 yards, 2 picks, 16.6 points per game the Panthers put up. That's 125th in the country. Tyrese Chambers, 262 yards and 3 touchdowns. He is a game-time decision due to an undisclosed injury. And they're also dealing with injuries. Lindell Hudson Jr. and John Bach weren't able to practice all week. So they do think Bach will be on the starting line, but the starting line has been beaten up a little bit. All right, Jose Zenyatta, 1 hole, 2 fingers, bowling ball, lamb chop, Bouquet. The floor is yours.
UTSA first quarter, -7.5. We're going to roll the shit out of the squad. -120 for that. Come out focus, Mr. Jeff Traylor. All right. Well, the defense has been horrific all year, and it's going to make me throw myself off a tall building when it comes to when they play UAB. I'll be at that game, and I'll be at the UNT game next week. Gigantic game, rivalry game. Not a big deal, whatever. But I think UTSA rolls here. This is an ass whooping. This is actually a Bouquett Bowl because my sister went to FIU for 2 seconds. Also graduated from UTSA, whatever. But domination station, UTSA rolls. Not even close this game. I'm shocked it's being televised, and I'm shocked that they allow this kind of graphic content on YouTube.
I would, if I was doing the college football show, I would want to do this game as well, just to have you on it. First quarter -7.5. Was that -120?
Yes, -120.
All right, let's go around the horn here. DJ Big Boss, UTSA, FIU.
I don't know. After Jose gave that one right there, I'm tempted to go on the other side of it. I don't know about it. Why are you just taking the first half or first quarter when there's a whole game? If you think they're gonna blow them out, take them to the break.
Well, 7.5, so low. It's gonna be a 21-0 first quarter. They're not gonna score in the first quarter, and we'll be all set.
So you're saying this is the best value play?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. DJ, I've capped this game long into the hours, DJ. I meticulously broke down my notes. Look at all these notes that are clearly for UTSA and not baseball. I've got it all broken down, just the matchup history, etc. Just the best play that jumped out of me in the last 5 minutes.
Over 7.5 first quarter. I mean, personally, I haven't seen it in UTSA. Like, I haven't seen that shine on them to make me think that they're as good as Jose thinks. But I'm watching them. I'm gonna watch them from afar on this one because that's way too many points to be laying. I think they're definitely beatable at some point. But 33 points is a lot at this time of the season. I mean, we did see UCF go off last night. Maybe you can get the same thing here because it's a Friday night or something. I don't know what y'all temperature down there like right now, but I don't know. That's why I'm off on this game. This number's too high. Not worth taking a risk with an FIU team that's just been failing all over the board. But at the same time, we've seen it's been any Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Friday. These teams step up and play, and that's where you could get caught up in that first quarter because they give you 7 in that hook, and somehow, FIU gets an early score, and there goes that first quarter. But go for it. I ain't gonna play it at all. I'm gonna watch it.
So not a lot of confidence there given to young Zenyatta Bouquett. Let's hear what Bobano has to say. Bobano, UTSA, Florida International. You moving on this?
So there's no way I would play FIU, obviously. I'm not going to do that. We just saw them lose 73-0 to Western Kentucky. And UTSA's got an offense that's capable of putting 60 or 70. If they want to, UTSA could put at least 50, if not 60 on this team, because Western Kentucky did. And Frank Harris in the passing game of UTSA, they're close to Western Kentucky throwing the football this year in terms of how good they are. They've run into turnover issues. That's the one thing that could hurt you, though, is UTSA at times has turned it over. There was a pick six there from Frank Harris. I remember the Middle Tennessee game, one of the other Friday games they played that brought them back into it. The only thing I would consider here is UTSA first half. I don't know about the full game. I would also consider the over in a first half full game split. Do you know actually that this total opened at 53.5? 53.5, and it's now 63, a 10-point move. This total opened at circa last Sunday, 53.5. It got slammed up to 59 within 2 minutes. And then the 59s disappeared like 5 minutes after that, 60, 61, 62, and then up to 63. That was a joke of an opening total in this game, 53.5. The total joke, because UTSA can get that on their own in this game against FIU. The question is, can FIU contribute? And I will say this, UTSA's defense has been leaky. UTSA at times, UTSA gave up a bunch of points to Texas Southern, as Jose mentioned. And this quarterback for FIU is not, he's not terrible. What he's terrible at is the interceptions and the decisions. He's had some costly interceptions, but they've moved the ball. Grayson James here, the quarterback for FIU, hasn't been bad. He's moved the ball. He's been able to, like, his numbers overall, 61% completions. That's not bad. 919 passing yards. in 5 games, 7 touchdowns. The 4 interceptions is what hurts. He's a dual threat quarterback, 39 carries, 93 rushing yards as well. So he can run with the football a little bit. So I lean UTSA first half. Will not make that official, but I don't want FIU at any number. I do have small bets on the over first half full game, but I'm not going to make those official because I just don't know if FIU is going to contribute. I think this could be like 54-3, 51-3 at the end of the day. But I'd be scared and petrified to bet the under because FIU won't stop UTSA, and UTSA's defense is leaky enough that even FIU could punch in 7, 10, 14, 17 points in this game. We'll see.
Well, Jose has moved on it. And there is some interest in the chat. By the way, Matt Paulins took the under, says just don't see FIU putting up 17 or more. Paco was talking about the team total for FIU's at 14.5 minus 130. Matty Ice moved on UTSA first half minus 21. I guess we can close up shop here on Friday night action, but we will leave with one question. Does it concern you at all, Jose, that they have North Texas on deck? North Texas, a team that stopped their undefeated season.
Oh, God. Well, I was, first of all, I was there when that happened. That fucking sucked. It was raining. I wanted to kill myself. No, because you just mentioned it with Jeff Traylor. It's this week. It's focusing on this week. It's coming out sharp. He's very good he's a very, very good coach, that Jeff Traylor. And he's very good at keeping the focus on this week and the opponent at hand for this week. Now, I'm not taking the full game because I definitely think, like DJ was mentioning, like maybe FIU like scores a point here or there and they don't cover the full 33 and 33.5, whatever you have. But I think that first quarter, at least first half, like my man Matty Ice was saying, they'll come out sharp, ready to go. And I also wouldn't be surprised if you saw the backups here in the second half as well, because Traylor is not opposed to doing that stuff too. So definitely think that it'll be a very interesting game. I would lean FIU full game, but will they fucking even score anything? Who knows? I can't trust them to do anything, like Bobano was saying too.
Jeff Traylor, soon to be coach of the Colorado Buffaloes.
No. 10-year contract last year. No. Texas Tech tried that shit last year, and we showed them our taint and said, fuck you.
Oh, so you got a taint tickler yourself.
Oh, yeah. Well, you kidding me? I go to McBoss every other week. I get the number 5 with the curly fries. Come on.
There you go.
Come on.
Way better than that Whataburger stuff.
No, that's not true at all. But I mean, of course, we see all these ladies too when we're there. Come on,
of course.
Come on, and then the sign when you're driving by the highway. This is what the sign looks like. It's great. It's awesome. I love going there. Shout out to McBossburger.
All right, there is Friday action. Thank you for dropping in with your look, Jose Bouquett and Bobano. Love these Fridays working together. I'll review all your action for the chat as soon as we close up the show. But thank you. I hope you feel better. You got to rest that voice. Big show tomorrow.
I do. I'll be back with my guy, Big Boss, DJ Big Boss, tomorrow, Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific, college football pub hub right here on Pub Sports Radio. Every game on the board. There's no other show doing it like us. So make sure you join us. And I got to rest this voice. You're right about that.
Yeah, be well, my man.
See you, boss, tomorrow, my friend. Good luck.
See you in the morning, man. Bright and early for me.
There he is, Bobano. So catch him tomorrow morning. He'll be hopefully a little bit better, he needs to heal. He needs to heal that voice. So there he is, Bobano. All right, we move on to Saturday action now. These games have all been handpicked by our DJ Big Boss, and I have not capped them. So I've got work to do on all of these games. So I will try my best to set the proper table for you. We open up. These all handpicked by DJ Big Boss. 12 p.m. tomorrow. The number 10 ranked Penn State Nittany Lions, 5-0, 2-0 in the Big Ten, at the number 5 Michigan Wolverines. And this is also our showcase game for our live bet stream here. As soon as the NFL or NCAA football pub hub is over, we will have this game going on live here. Penn State, Michigan, for you guys to live bet. Let's take a look at the line history and the situation. I'll pull all of this up. I'll also get the weather and all of that stuff up as we go. But let's start with the line history here. We have Penn State opening up as 7-point dogs. And there has been a move towards Michigan at this number. Michigan is 9-cent move. They've gone from -104 to -113, and this total opened up at 50.5, has not moved. So it's exactly where it was. We'll take a look at the cash flow and see if all of this makes sense and correlates with what Boss thinks is going to happen. They give slight line value to Michigan, slight line value. 24,752 tickets in. 57% of the tickets and 65% of the cash is on Penn State, interestingly enough. And 42% of the tickets, 63% of the cash is on the under. Penn State coming in off that 17-7 win versus Northwestern. That was on the heels of their win versus Central Michigan, and when they beat up on Auburn 41-12 at Auburn. Michigan coming in off a 31-10 win at Indiana. 2 back-to-back road games where they took care of business, Indiana and Iowa. Take it away for us, Boss. Nittany Lions, Wolverines.
Well, first, we seen what Michigan been doing up to this far. They've been playing pretty good. They got a quarterback over there who can move the ball around a little bit, and they can run the ball as well. We've seen this Penn State team who we traditionally know this team as a team that doesn't play well on the road. They play much better at the White House, but it seems that they struggle a little bit at home, even though they've been winning, but they play well on the road so far. So here's a road game. Maybe that explains the number being down a little bit to 7 and not, nothing above that. But the thing that I peeked out of this game that was most impressive to me was both teams' defense. Both teams play defense pretty good. Michigan, on one hand, they're allowing teams 30% on third down. They're 72% in the red zone. And Penn State, on the other hand, they're allowing 30% on third down and 54% in the red zone. So these guys play some solid D. When I capped the game, it was at 52. It's been driven down to 50.5, but I still like it. I think it's going to be a grudge match. It's a conference play, and they're going to take their time. Harbaugh doesn't have a problem with running the ball when he has to run the ball or throwing the ball when he has to throw the ball, and I don't see nothing too high flying. Just as long as we stay out of the block punts and kick returns and stuff for that area, we should fall right under the number right there.
And you are making this official?
Absolutely.
All right. Let's lock that in for you. Here we go. And I was talking about the weather. Are you moving at all on the total in this one?
Yeah, I'm taking the under on this one.
Oh, sorry, of course. Sorry, the side. My bad.
No, I don't really like the side. If I had to, because I'm loving. We know what the Big Ten do. They knock each other out. Michigan's at 5. It'll be a normal story in Big Ten history for Penn State to come in and beat Michigan at this spot, and they have a whole nother season. So I'm always good for a dog catching points in the Big Ten at this part of the season when they're playing nice conference play. But I'm not 100% secure that Penn State is going to pull this off at Michigan.
Under 50.5 for DJ Big Boss in Penn State and Michigan. We haven't seen much movement on this from a line perspective, but the sharp money is on that under with the Boss. Let's just take a quick look and see what the weather is in Ann Arbor tomorrow. It says 52, but let's get a better idea here. Tomorrow, weather at over here, it's but windy. Interesting. So you got 16-mile-per-hour wind for this game throughout. It never goes lower than 15 miles per hour. So I like it. All right, let's move on to the next spot on the board for our DJ Big Boss. It's the Kansas Jayhawks, 5-1, 2-1 in the Big 12 at the Sooners, who have started out very poorly in Big 12 play. We're at Memorial Stadium in Norman, Oklahoma. Let's see what we are dealing with from a line perspective in Kansas, Oklahoma. We have the total dropping, but we'll start with the side. Oklahoma opened up as 6.5-point favorites. They're now 9-point favorites. 9-point favorites. So big move towards Oklahoma. This total opened up at 65 and has dropped all the way to 62.5. It actually dropped to 61.5. So there's been a little bit of buyback there. When we take a look at the cash flow for this one. Oh man, there's a lot of games. It'll take me a second to grab it. And I know it's very important. God, just so many goddamn games. It's going to take me some time to pull it up for you guys. Unfortunately, there we go. They've given Oklahoma half line value, 50% line value, and of course, it's moved from 6.5 to 9. You have 90% of the tickets on Kansas, 73% of the cash. Wow! So only 10% of the tickets are on Oklahoma. This line's moved from 6.5 to 9, with 27% of the cash. That is absolutely wild. Kansas had their first defeat of the season at home to TCU, 38-31. Oklahoma's coming off that 49-0 beatdown at home to Texas. Take it away for us, boss. Kansas, Oklahoma.
Yeah, first off, Oklahoma's been kind of tail spinning with Venables over there. On the defensive side, it's kind of weird because he's a defensive guy, and that's why they brought him over there. But I don't know. He's dealing with the recruits of another guy's stuff, and those guys didn't play defense well, so they're kind of suffering from the recruits. He's working with what he has right there, and so far it's not working too good. They're allowing 44% on third down. They're 83% in the red zone. They only have 4 interceptions for the year, but they do have 14 sacks, so they're not high flying or anything special on defense. Offense still productive, balanced, 210 on the ground, 222 in the air. You know, they usually do a little more in the air. But this Kansas team, on the other hand, and the reason this number is down is because the starting quarterback Daniels, he went out in the last game, but his replacement Bean, he came in and did a good job. Now, usually I'm usually fading quarterbacks coming in on injury, just like with Gabriel here as well. Like, he's coming off an injury coming in. I don't expect him to do too well. It takes a little while for people to get adjusted. Kansas, on the other hand, Bean is another one. You know, usually when a guy comes in off of the bench, he does a really good job. The following game, the team has a little tape on them. They're a little better prepared. He may not do as good of a job. So I had to go watch the tape on this one. And when I went and looked at the tape of Bean on Kansas, looks like he knows the offense very well. It's one of those, the Kansas is winning because what's the Lance Leppold over there? He's running one of those wild offenses, sort of like Sarkisian did with Texas when he almost beat Alabama. It's something like a wishbone-looking wing tee with a whole bunch of motion, and he does a weird thing where he goes, it kind of throws it to the opposite receiver that you would think the play is going to. It's really weird, but it works really well. But when Bean came in, he ran that same offense the same way Daniels did, and many are saying now that there's not much gap between the two. So if Daniels was starting, I'd definitely take that 8.5 and or 9, what it is now, and take Kansas. But with Bean, we don't know so much. It's a little more riskier. Earlier in the week, it was kind of questionable if Gabriel was coming back for Oklahoma. I think now it's a little more solid that he's going to be coming back. But, I mean, he's not going to save the defense. He's there for offense. So I really like Kansas in the spot. But I'm not really all the way making it an official play. But I definitely endorse Kansas in this one. And we look like we have an under in this one as well. You know, with the quarterback coming off, you know, if Gabriel doesn't go in, then we have 2 backup quarterbacks playing, and then I would look at the under as well. So we're going to let it down so we know for sure. I don't know if anybody knows for sure if Gabriel's going to be playing or not, because we've seen that coaches nowadays be playing games, suiting players that they know they're not going to play and all kinds of stuff like that. So I'm going to hold off a little while, but I probably shouldn't, because the number is probably going to move more towards Kansas as we get closer to the game time, because the Sharps been on Kansas this whole time and they haven't really let them down. They're what are they, 5-1 ATS? So the great ATS team. That goes to say for their defense and their offense as well. So I got a strong lean on Kansas right now. I just want to know exactly what Oklahoma lineup and setup I'm going to get.
It's wild. 90% of the tickets on Kansas. I mean, it's a very rare thing. For instance, there's no game that has more than 90% of the tickets on one side. There is one other one that has 90% of tickets. That's Rice going up against Florida Atlantic. Now, there's a huge ticket discrepancy in our next game that we're going to break down. But before we break that game down, interestingly enough, that this total's dropped all the way down 61.5 back 62.5, and 88% of tickets, 85% of cash is on the over. I mean, that tells me that the public is going to get slaughtered in this game, and that the under is the spot. There's Wham Bam in the house, and we have a Stanton bomb by the Yankees, and we go back to what TJ said and screamed and yelled at us. TJ was yelling at us. Sometimes we don't like being yelled at, but this is what TJ screamed. He said, "Big bet Yankees first 5. Yankees will hit Bieber. I repeat and yell, Yankees will hit Bieber. They excel against soft tossers." And, you know, in all honesty, I was very close to moving on the Guardians first 5. But I hadn't done it on my own. And I had every opportunity to with the game being rained out yesterday. And I hadn't done it. And when TJ said that, I stayed off. Not good enough to move on the other side. But shout out to our friend TJ. So no move officially here. But if I gave you a free bet on the total, you take the under 62.5 right now.
Absolutely. If Gabriel doesn't show up, I'm definitely taking the under.
And if he does show up, you don't want
to. If he does show up, I don't really want. I'm gonna look back into Kansas and see. It's probably. I mean, it's gonna be a little emotional, because I really feel Kansas 100%. But 90% of the bets over there, I don't want to be a part of all the people that sink at the same time. So it might not be worth it to bet, but it has so much value considering how well Kansas has played to this point. And then the number going up, it kind of makes me wonder. But maybe the number coming down closer to game time probably convinced me a little more that Kansas got a solid chance in this one.
I love the breakdown. Wally, my man, love you. Get your shots in and be ready for the Breeders' Cup, my friend. We love you. I love this. I just got the memory of I was at the casino in Costa Rica, and just with the wife and some friends, Natalie was down there, and I was just like, not talking to anybody, just watching the game. So I was like, you know what? I should get some action here. And I put in a 3-game parlay that you had given us, 3 games that you liked on the show. I don't remember. I was just like, just a little fun little thing in the machine, $50. It paid out $666. And I remember that very well. I talked to nobody, but I drank by myself and had a great time. Let's move on to 4 p.m. Eastern. Louisiana Tech Bulldogs, 2-3, 1-0 in the Conference USA at North Texas Mean Green, 3-3, 2-0. We're at Apogee Stadium in Denton, Texas. And remember, next week, North Texas and UTSA are playing, and it was North Texas that stopped that perfect season. So we're going to talk about that game for sure. Let's move over to the line history in this one. Louisiana Tech, North Texas. We have Louisiana Tech opening up as 6-point dogs. They're now 7-point dogs. So there's been a 1-point move towards North Texas. From a total perspective, we have another drop in a total. Opening up at 71, now sitting at 68. I gave you guys a hint that the tickets were all on one side in this. They're all over North Texas. Only a 1-point move, and that's been something that I've had difficulty calculating. I've had quite success like studying the market, as you guys have seen over the last 8 or 9 months. But when there's 96% of the cash on a team and there's only a 1-point move, I haven't quite figured out how to work with that yet. From a total perspective, 42% of tickets are on the over and 82% of cash on the over. The market's going against all of the public or sharp even total here. Let's take a look here very quickly and just set a table. La Tech had lost 2 in a row. They lost at Clemson 48-20, then lost at Southern Alabama 38-14, and bounced back a little bit with a 41-31 win at home versus UTEP. And North Texas also stopping a 2-game losing streak. They lost badly at UNLV 58-27. They played much better at Memphis in a 44-34 loss, and then beat Florida Atlantic at home last week 45-28. So both teams coming off cracking their 2-game losing streak. The big difference here is North Texas is coming in off of a bye week, and that's a big deal here in college. Take it away for us, boss. La Tech, North Texas.
Well, yeah, this was one that I capped on the Boss and the Shaw show, and I was definitely on North Texas big time. But as I got to looking at it earlier this morning and looking at Louisiana Tech, they have some decent athletes over there to move around. I mean, they actually have a chance to win in this game, believe it or not. But I moved over to the total opposed to the side in this one. But both of these teams are doing really bad. We really shouldn't be betting. This is kind of a bum fight on paper, even though we have a lot of respect for North Texas and Louisiana Tech. But right now on paper, it's a bum fight. I mean, North Texas defense is 118. La Tech defense is 127. But North Texas offense is a little better. They 52. And the offensive La Tech is 86. So, it's kind of a bum fight right here. Both of these teams are upside down. We really shouldn't be in this game at all. But I see one of my great looks where you have two teams that are very similar to each other right now. Even they're very close to each other in record as well as, ATS, all that stuff. They're really close by 1 or 2 with each other right now. So I think we get the contrarian look right here, and this thing goes under. I seen it earlier this week at 70. I see somebody then caught on to that bet too, and it's 68 now. But I still take it at 68. As conference play time, I think it'd be a little more of a grudge match between the two. I don't think because of the weakness of the defense, both teams should be able to run the ball more than pass. And when you have teams that suffer with, turning the ball over, opportunities to run rather than pass is something that you want to do. So I like the under in this one. I'm making it official as well.
Under 68 at -108. And you did not make that Kansas-Oklahoma official. So let me just write that just so I remember it, because I'm thinking of tailing it, but I want to study it a little more. Boston. Okay, there, perfect, beautiful, and we're locked in with the under 68 at -108. It wouldn't be a proper Big Boss show if we didn't talk about Notre Dame football, and that's where we move right now. 7:30 p.m. Eastern, Saturday night. Stanford Cardinals 1-4 at the Fighting Irish 3-2. Cool that Stanford's heading over to Notre Dame Stadium for this one. Let's move over to the line history here and get over there. Give me a second. Here we go. We have this is the first time a total has gone up, but also money coming in on Notre Dame, opening up at -15, now -16.5. This did get up to -17, but it's sitting at -16.5. From a totals perspective, it opened up at 53, and we now see a 54.5. So it's gone up 1.5. Let's see if the cash follows Notre Dame and the over. And here we go. So they've given about 20% line value on Notre Dame. Notre Dame, though, is not where the big bets have come in. Stanford has 60% of the tickets and 81% of the cash. And then the over has 75% of the tickets and 98% of the cash, and it is climbing 98% of the cash. Let's hear what DJ Big Boss has to say, his Irish at home to Stanford.
So this one's pretty easy for me. I've kind of got a better look at what Notre Dame looks like on the field. And I saw Stanford early in the season, especially when they played against USC. But one of my ones that I've been sticking with all year, and I'm going to continue to stay with, is the under in the Notre Dame game. So I like the under in this one. You hear me say it all the time that Notre Dame is not a team that's trying to blow somebody out at home. We just want to sing the little song and do our little thing and go on with our day. So I don't see them trying to run the scoreboard up. We don't have the type of offensive weapons to just run the score up at will like that. And Stanford is one of our little sister schools right there. Like, they try to bottle themselves after Notre Dame. They got a lot of respect for Notre Dame. They're going to be happy for playing in South Bend and all that good stuff. And, we know what they do over there. It's kind of like playing potato salad. They run the ball. They continue to run the ball. They make throws when they have to make throws. But they're built kind of like us as well, though. They have some decent sized back and big tight ends, except for they use the double tight way more than we use the double tight. So I think this is a classic right here. We see these teams from time to time, and I think this stays under the 55, but I do like Stanford plus the points right here. Like I said, Notre Dame's in no way, shape, or how is just tuned up to be out here blowing teams out right now with the off. We don't even have a great quarterback. We got a decent quarterback surviving for his life. We do have a great offensive line because that boy get time back there. But he's been figuring out how to find his target slowly but surely. But in this game right here, we're not looking – at this point in the season, we're not looking to run the score up on these guys. We get in the second half. If we have any type of lead, we packing it up. We running the ball, paying protection of the ball and closing the game out. So I like the under a lot, and I like taking Stanford plus the points in this one. Easy cap right here. That was an easy one.
Plus 16.5 and under 55. Plus 16.5 minus 108 for DJ Big Boss. All right, let's move into our final game here on the show. And it may take me some time to find this. No, there we go. We got it. Okay, here we go. 10:45 p.m. Eastern. The San Jose State Spartans, 4-1, 2-0 in the Mountain West, showing that last year was just a blip. We saw what they did 2 years back and thought, man, this is a school moving in the right direction, and they are doing that again. Going up against Fresno State, now 1-4, 0-1 in conference. Let's take a look at the line history in this one. We have San Jose State opening up at some offshores at 6.5. It opened up at Pinnacle at 6. It's already gone from -6 to -8.5. We've seen big moves on San Jose State games so far this year. This total opened up at 49. It's now at 47. It got all the way down to 46.5. But so opened up at 49.5. Now at 47. Let's take a look at the cash flow here in this one. Just 3,707 tickets in, but it's all San Jose State. 76% of the tickets, 94% of the cash. Then you have 66% of tickets, 94% of the cash on the under. So there we go. That is the situation. Let me pull this up here. So San Jose State coming off their third straight win. They absolutely destroyed UNLV 47. Broke that game down on last Friday's show. I went 3-0 after our breakdowns with the big Ragu. With Fresno State, they've lost 4 straight games. They lost at Connecticut, which was a shocker. And then last week, they lose 40-20 at Boise on a 4-game losing streak with the market moving quickly to the Spartans. How are you betting this one, boss?
So let's break it down. This Fresno State team is kind of crumbling. They're 0-5 ATS, 1-4 overall, 0-1 in conference. I mean, Jeff Tedford came and took over Kalen DeBoer's team. I said it early in the season. This kind of people don't seamlessly transfer coaches like that. You know, you got systems and players and all kinds of stuff going on. But the funny part about this game is after Dante Adams did what he did this Sunday, they're going to be retiring his jersey from Fresno State at halftime. That's going to be funny. But San Jose State, on the other hand, they've been putting it together slowly but surely. They're 4-1 and they're 4-1 ATS. They're 1-4 to the under. So the great part about that is they play great defense. They always had the defense there. It's just last year they didn't really have a quarterback. So they went and got Cordero, the quarterback from Hawaii, and he started off kind of slow, but he's picked it up to a great tune of 60 attempts, 186 yards running the ball with 6 touchdowns. He's thrown 6 touchdowns, and he has 0 interceptions to this point. So I definitely think that San Jose State could win and cover, but this is a rival game. It's the Battle of the Valley. These teams are like 150 miles away from each other or something like that. But I like the under more in this one because despite however the game goes, the San Jose State, they pack defense and they're going to slow this team down that's already kind of hurting. And Fresno State, you know, their best thing is their running back Mims at this point, but he hasn't even been doing all that good running the ball. But maybe at home, prepared, he'll do a better job of running the ball. But nonetheless, San Jose State will put the defense on them and slow them down. I don't think they're going to try to fly out the building with points like they did against UNLV. I think, with enough respect, Brenner, the coach Brenner too, his mom and dad or something both went to San Jose State. He's not he's familiar with this rivalry and all that stuff. So he'll get the win, but I don't think he'll rub it in, and this one stays under 47. So I lean San Jose State, and I'm taking the under in this one, under 47.
I love it. I love all these looks here. I'm going to sit and beat them up a little bit more after the show and decide which ones I'm going to roll with you on. We made 4 official. Boss made moves on 4 games officially and doubled up on a couple of them. Let's review. He's on the under 50.5 in Penn State, Michigan. He is leaning towards that under 62.5 in Kansas City, Oklahoma, but hasn't moved on it yet. He's on the under 68 in La Tech, North Texas, under 55 in Stanford, Notre Dame, and Stanford plus 16.5. And he's on the under 47 at minus 110. The Gas Report has a question for you on this Cardinal Notre Dame game. The full game is moved to 16.5, but you can still get Notre Dame first half minus 7.5. And Gas Report wondering what you think of that first half bet in Stanford, Notre Dame.
I don't know. I think Notre Dame could probably get the best of Stanford's second half with, the difference in the athletes. So I wouldn't really mess around in the first half. If I was to mess around with something early, I would go with my traditional first quarter Notre Dame because many times at home we score first and it's usually a touchdown. But we're dealing with a different type of team than we had in the past. But I expect the tradition to be the same because that's what they're all about. So I think Notre Dame scores first for sure. And I think that's probably better done in the first quarter than the first half.
Interesting. Our guy AJ 1337 says friends and family parlay with DJ Big Boss. Let's do it. Let's get Jose Bouquett back on this show. Jose and I cashed our legs yesterday. Let's see if we can do it again, Jose, with our guy DJ Big Boss. I've reviewed everybody what DJ's action is, and so now it is time to put together a winning parlay. I really liked our looks yesterday, Jose. I was quite confident in them, and I privately bet just ours very quietly. But let's move.
The guy, no, damn, I would have bet it too.
I did. I was like, God, this is like. I just felt like it was a slam dunk.
I already forgot my leg, to be honest. I forgot what it was yesterday.
You were on Seattle first 5 plus a half, and I was on the Toronto Maple Leafs money line. Cash. All right, it is time for the friends and family parlay. DJ Boss, Big Boss, as you are our guest here, would you like to put yours in first or last?
I'll go first.
All right, what is your leg of our friends and family parlay?
Let's start this with the early game with Michigan and Penn State, and let's take that under right there.
Michigan, Penn State, under 50.5. I love when our parlays go multiple days. I'm not somebody who wants them all in. I kind of like getting excited about something the next day. So there it is. Michigan, Penn State, under 50.5 for Big Boss. Jose, 1 hole, 2 fingers, Bouquet. What is your leg of the parlay?
It's tough. I'm glad I couldn't put the Guardians in there because they're disappointing me as we see so far. Mike Stanton. I'm torn between both baseball games, and really, I think I'm going to take the San Diego Padres. I'm going to take the Padres full game money line at plus 107. Going to ride with Razor Sharp and his reverse line movement. Going to shock the world with these Padres right now. So Padres, full game money line there.
Padres plus 107. Big Boss on Michigan, Penn State under 50.5. And I will be on the. And I don't care if it's minus 200 at all because these are just parlay pieces, and all I care about is winning my leg. I'm on the Tampa Bay Lightning money line. The Lightning money line. And there you have it. Michigan, Penn State under 50.5, Padres plus 107, and Lightning money line. Why don't you guys stick with us as we do one final review? I'm moving on the Alouettes first half. -2. I thought about Alouettes money line first half in this, but decided not to. Ticats, Stampeders, we stayed off. We stayed off Argos, Elks, but I am telling you, if the RedBlacks win that football game, bet on the Elks as soon as you possibly can. The Argos will rest everyone. Especially, they'll give a gift back to Chris Jones, whom they love, who came in last year and oversaw a bunch of work on their defense. And
I would love if you send me a text message if they win. I would love that.
You don't keep your ear to the streets on Red Black football?
I do not know.
Then the Lions it's just going to keep moving the Lions' direction. The Bombers are going to sit everybody. These are the gifts that come in the CFL late in the season. We also get them in the beginning of the season. Ron Crawford spreadsheet play today's on the Tampa Bay Lightning in regulation. That's my leg of the parlay. I also bet them -1, and I bet the team total under 2.5 for the Columbus Blue Jackets. And by the way, I want Goodrow to fail badly. Bobano's on the Red Wings -107 regulation. I like the look. I want to watch them play. Rangers, Jets, we stayed off. Slatsy's on Burns. We said Brett, but it's Brent Burns. Revenge factor +2.5 shots versus old team. He had 6 versus the Canes. Bobano's on the Hurricanes first period -0.5 in Carolina regulation. I am on Carolina -1 and San Jose under 2.5. Then we have in the Braves game, Bobano on the over 6.5. Jose's on the Braves first 5 in full game. I'm just going to ride with the +130 that Jose hooked us up with on the series price. I'm going to be on the first 5 over 3.5 and the first 3 Padres. I'm going to bet that here shortly. Jose's on the Padres first 5 team total over 1.5 and Padres first 5. Bobano's on the Dodgers -115 and the over 7 at -119. Razor Sharp's Gamblers first glance is the Padres money line, and he has a $500 parlay on Phillies, Padres, and the Tribe that pays out $4,357. Tribe down 2-0 right now. Then Bobano's on Navy +12.5 and the over 56.5. Razors also on Navy +12.5. And the taint play today is Navy and SMU, both teams to score. Mal on both teams to score over in the Brentford game right there. Then Jose's on UTSA first quarter -7.5 at -120. And we've already gone over our Saturday NCAA football action. There we have it. Jose, thank you for your hard work producing. You do a great job. Good luck with your videos. Again, Jose's shooting these videos late at night as soon as the games are over. So as soon as the games are over, you can catch them. Are you doing them live right now? Or are you filming?
No, these are all the pre-records, and we're cutting them up, putting them
like
up
that
individually. It's a great time. Tonight I'll be solo doing them. It'll be a nice, quick, and easy, like 5 minutes each game. And then we'll figure it out from there. But it's been a whole lot of fun, obviously. And thanks, everyone, for watching.
Oh, that's great. I'm going to be at Los Heroes at 5:30 today with the family.
What's that?
It's a Mexican restaurant here in the neighborhood. It's fucking awesome. And it's packed. And music and the vibe is so great. So I will be there. That's where I will be here. Kevin K's on the Raptors +2 in Montreal tonight. And Matt Paulin says Rangers a trap, we think, after they crushed Minnesota last night.
The Raptors are in Montreal?
Yes, Montreal for a little exhibition game. Thank you all, you guys, for all of your support. It means a ton to us. What do you get to eat there? The tacos are spectacular. So I'm going to do steak and pork, but we're going to open with the queso. I'm going to open with a beer and a shot of tequila. And Carter's big move is he takes food, he shows it to me, and then he slaps himself in the head with it. And lots of laughs around the table. Big Daddy Boom.
You keep this up, Jimmy. My mom's going to give you a Hispanic card soon.
Oh, I respect that. I mean, I'm craving Venezuelan food. We've been talking about it. I'm craving it. Thank you guys so much. Mike will be at the local burger joint in his hometown casino having a deluxe. Everybody thought it's Friday night, baby. I'm really excited. This is the only day I don't work is tomorrow, so I'm gonna get a little sloppy tonight. Oki, we love you. Jimmy Gomez in the house. Jimmy, congrats again on your son's 5th birthday. You have such a sweet family. Leo said it says go Ravens. By the way, the sharp money all over those Baltimore Ravens. Tons of sharp money. They're probably the biggest spot with the sharps right now is the Ravens, and also Leo said it on them as well. Andrew G, Matt Paulins, Kevin K, Big Daddy Boom, Top Shelf Plays, Mike, Mal. Thank you guys. Johnny K, MDR 24, AJ 1337, The Gas Report, Coin. TJ, that was money you saved me with your look that you were screaming at us with. AOD, all of you guys. JPeasy in here. I love you guys.
I've got one more game I have a question about. Jimmy, why'd you wear that TCU hat?
I wasn't trying to hurt you guys. It wasn't.
It was just an unconscious decision just to shiv us in the back like that. Oklahoma State beats their ass by fucking 20+ this week, and we're going to go to the fucking college football playoffs and lose terribly. But we're going to fucking run this table, go undefeated, win the Big 12, and just take a nice, hot, steaming pile of shit right on Oklahoma's chest right here, and it's going to drip down all the way down to the SEC.
I like the way you put that. And you know I would not shiv you in the chest, man.
Right here, actually. Right here. A little chopstick.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. It's going to be a fun weekend. I love having DJ Big Boss back. God, I need more DJ Big Boss in my life. We all do. Everybody's life is improved when you're around it, man. So I'm planning a trip. The family, we're coming out to LA in the summertime so that I can hang some more, man. I love you. Thank you for joining us. Anytime that you can take off, let us know, and we'll build a show around you, my man. So thank you for rolling with us, DJ Big Boss. And also DJ, what's going on at Who Bangin' Sports Talk? What do you got going on?
Oh, we got the Boss and the Sauce every week, man. Wednesdays, 5:30 on the West and 8:30 on the East. So come check out the Boss and the Sauce. And then we also got Before You Bet NFL, Don Ricci and myself every Sunday, 12:30 on the West, 3:30 on the East. We're on having fun.
That show.
We had my man Jose on there. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? We had Jose on there. Just any of y'all out there, if you want to get on camera for the first time or the 33rd time, hit us up. Come on in. Let us know how good your bet's been going or how bad they've been going. You can go on a little rant if you want or anything like that. And you know what I'm saying?
Is that a promise?
That's about it, man. That's a promise. Go on a rant, have some good time. We good people. We just having a good time. We're not trying to prove no points or nothing like that. We love the game. We love betting. We try to help each other win. So, it's just one of those type of environments, something to do. If your lady left you, because most ladies leave you and go shopping while you watch the game, then
you mean just with us? You mean just leave the house?
Just leave the house on a Sunday. They already know you.
I thought it was like she left you. Now let's go gamble and be sad with Boston Sauce on the weekend.
We're not gonna leave the tank tickler, buddy. The tank tickler.
You're right.
Oh, Ricky Levine, I promise you I'm going to hit Long Beach because that's where our guy DJ Big Boss and Noli knows are. So let's all meet up at Boss's for a barbecue. Let's all do that.
Let's go. We can go Jimmy Kimmel. We're going to make the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl an annual thing now.
Dope.
Probably one of the best chances of getting in SoFi without getting beat up or robbed for your money. But we're going to do the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl when it comes around. It's coming around soon. So y'all get y'all tickets. They on sale now. We're going to be there for sure. That's going to be an annual right there.
What day is that?
It's in December. I think it's December 14th. I'm not 1,000% sure.
Somewhere up in there. Bowl. That's good. Yeah. It's an early bowl, not the New Year's Bowl. So the fucking travel won't even be that expensive, guys.
Yeah.
And it may or may not be shitty teams, so the tickets will be cheap.
I love it. And we were talking about Dami Gun Ricci. He'll be one of our guests this Sunday on NFL Pub Hub as well. So he'll hit NFL Pub Hub and then jump over to the big show over at Who Bangin' Sports Talk. So follow Who Bangin' Sports Talk, subscribe to Who Bangin', and also to our guy DJ Big Boss. Boss, can you send us into the future with some lechery and give a what's up to or a thank you finale for this week's shows? I'm betting with the back.
Well, let me see. Can we get a leche?